Hello and welcome to episode 108 of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. My name's Davey and joined with me, as always, is the fine wine himself, Mr. Philip Hoy.
I'm back, baby. Hey, back on the show.
Good to have you back, my friend.
Welcome
really
back,
good.
mate.
And the boy wonder himself, Spencer Davis.
He's had a few.
Yay.
He's on the beers today.
He's had
Golf
a
claps.
few. Yeah.
Spencer's back.
He might be a bit silly today. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be good. Some energy on the show is always a good thing. And listeners, we have got a fantastic show for you today. You want energy? We're bringing that dial up, as Phil says, up to 11. We are going mental today because we have got a normal kind of run of the show, actually, lads.
Maybe a bit less, no?
I know, yeah. Good dial it back down a bit, all right? We're not American. You know, these Americans come out, they're like, what's up, guys? Welcome to 108. No, we're just keeping it. You're in for the normal shit you're used to on this show. We're going to kick it into a question, a hypothetical that we always ask each other to see how we would either survive, battle, or just pick the worst of two options. We're then going to go into our what we've been playing to find out what we've been up to. Then go into the news, where we got one piece of news each today, so it should be quite a quick one. Then we move it into the rumor, where we got 3 rumors, but we're going to try and bundle them to make it a little bit cleaner for yourselves. And then the final thing is the topic, which is all about the state of play, which recently happened. And we're going to be talking all about that, going through our shag, marry, and kill lists. All in all, a fantastic 5-star worthy episode. So if you're listening to this at home and you're thinking to yourself, wow, these guys, what a great opening. I'm 2 minutes and 8 seconds in and I'm having the fucking time of my life. You know what to do. Put a 5-star rating on any way you listen to it. If that's on Spotify, Apple, whichever place you are. If you're on YouTube, then hi. Then make sure to put a like and a subscribe to the channel. That is enough of the little digs. Before we even get into the question, Phil, what have you been up to, mate? It's weird that you missed an episode of the show. Like, Spencer, you know, he flits in and out sometimes. You know, it kind of comes with the territory. But for yourself, you're a mainstay on the show. So what's been going on?
Oh, it feels nice to be missed. I didn't think you guys would realise until I watched back the show and I was mentioned every other sentence. So you obviously have missed me during the last recording. But I was down in London. So I was away with work, and then I decided to stay up there and just see my brother for a little bit. So that's what I've been up to, just enjoying myself in London, doing a bit of work down there, bit of work, bit of pleasure.
Up in the big smoke, mate.
That's what it
Causing a fucking ruckus. Loving it, mate. Loving to. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Spence, you and me, we've just been holding the fort down, haven't we? Just been loyal to the show, loyal to the fucking sesh of PlayStation. And how are you feeling about doing that all again today?
Yeah, man, it'll be fun.
He's fucking on it.
That excitement level has dipped a little bit from his intro, hasn't it?
It has. It's already
It'll
started
be fun
coming
once
down.
we're into it. The minute I'm a bit bevved, you know, I'm quite keen to get to bed, but it's fine. We'll pick it up. It's a game.
Let's kick it up in style. We got a question today, an old school kind of question for the show, and ones that I very much enjoy generally. And this is one I saw on Facebook. Okay, so here's the question, guys. You're in an arena with 50 hawks, 10 crocodiles, 3 brown bears, 15 wolves, 1 hunter with a rifle, 7 buffalo, 10,000 rats, 5 gorillas, and 4 lions. You have to pick 2 to defend you. The others attack you. The goal is to survive 1 hour. Now, we'll just lay the groundwork straight away here. In terms of this arena, I imagine it like a football stadium. So an open, flat ground. No kind of cover, nothing like that. Some of the replies were like, oh, I'll go up into the mountains and they can't climb up there. You know, what's Buffalo going to do on mountainous terrain? No, we're in like a football stadium, right? We're keeping it very flat ground. Yeah, flat ground.
Okay.
So, Spence, going to start with yourself. Who are the 2 that are going to defend you?
All right, immediately follow-up question.
Sure.
I did have a question. I was going to ask about the arena, but you've solved that immediately.
Okay,
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The hunter, how much ammo is in his rifle?
I want to say he's just got unlimited rounds.
Until he dies.
Yeah,
You can just
I'd
keep
say he's got
shooting.
unlimited rounds because it's not like as if you say, oh, you know, we're not really taking stamina into it, I imagine, when it comes to like, you know, a bear, can it keep going for an hour attacking things. I don't know, right? It's going to get tired at some point. I imagine that the hunter with a rifle, he's got unlimited ammo.
And can you use the rifle, or does it have to be the hunter uses the rifle?
No, you could use it. So say, for example,
Okay.
you were to take out the hunter, you could use
same
it.
line of thinking, Phil. Exactly.
And the other thing to make very clear, these animals aren't just chilling. They're on death attack mode. Like, they will go for you, and the animals defending you will die to keep you alive. Like, it's that they're very much, their sense of self-preservation is off. They are their one goal, to keep you alive.
They're dialed up to 11.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Understood.
All right.
Okay. It's a classic. This is a classic question for us. This is right up our alley. So I'm looking forward to giving you an answer because I've been thinking about this one. So come on, Spence, give me yours because I've got something lined up for this.
Okay. I know what my answer is. I know what my answer has to be. It's not what I want my answer to be.
Right. Okay. Well, give me what it has to be, and then I want to kind of know why you think that, and then afterwards what your heart tells you it should be.
I think it's better to go the other way around.
Okay. All right. Fine. Go for it.
So what I initially thought, my first team of 2 people defending was hunter with a rifle, obviously, and 15 wolves. So I thought 15 wolves will smoke 4 lions, smoke 5 gorillas. I'm like, 5 of them for 15 wolves. I think it'd smoke them. But
Bro, this isn't Twilight.
Yeah, I don't think they stand a chance, mate. I've
Bro,
seen
I
like
think they
one
would.
lion take on like a pack of hyena, and they're
that's
like
hyenas,
shit in
bro.
it.
Hyenas are like scaredy cats, bro. They wait till they're dead to actually go in.
Oh, I don't...
Hyenas are bitches.
Four
Wolves will
lions.
fucking do you in, bro.
Okay,
But-
carry on.
Yeah, so that was my default answer. I had the same line of thinking as Phil, whereas how much ammo's in the hunter's rifle? Could I use it after he dies? All that kind of thing. But then I thought there's a solid weakness there, which is what the fuck do you do against the rats and the hawks? You know? Because your aim for 50 hawks would have to be impeccable. At the same time, there's 10,000 rats coming for your toes. Nah, no shot. So but the real answer on what I think you have to choose to actually survive this, the 2 people defending me are the 10,000 rats and the 50 hawks.
Ooh.
Because
Okay.
they're the only 2 that conceivably I don't think there's any way to overcome.
Oh, well, before... Actually, I was going to just piggyback on the back of this, but I want to hear Phil's kind of thoughts about your team here. Your kind of
Cool.
super team, if you will.
So which 2 are you going for? Because you've kind of flip-flopped around a couple there, Spence. You've gone for the 10,000 rats, haven't you? And did you
The
say
50
the
hawks.
50 hawks? So you've gone for quantity over quality there, haven't you?
I've gone for ground and land, mate. No, ground and sky. Sorry, I've had
Right.
a few. Air and floor.
The air superiority and the overwhelming numbers.
Yeah.
Of the
of
ground.
10,000 rats, yeah.
Yeah, you're definitely commanding the skies, aren't you, with the 50 hawks? And I can imagine 50 hawks going for you would be pretty damn scary. But I do think you have left out the most important one, which is the hunter, with unlimited ammo. Because all these animals need to get close to you to affect you. But the hunter can be anywhere in this football stadium, okay? So if he's down, in the trenches, sat next to Arnie Slot in the management dugout, and he's lining up his rifle, he's got you wherever he needs you. And he's a hunter, dude. I'd be worried about a hunter. You can't use the rats and the hawks to block those shots. He's after you. He's
Why
not
can't
after
I?
them. You can't command them, can you? It's
Well,
not like the Pied Piper going round, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and then all the rats suddenly build a wall for you.
I think I can.
I imagine you probably could, right, to a certain extent, be like, oh, like Pokemon, where you're like, go and get that, like, sick that bear, or whatever, right? And they're like, "Bleh," like,
You're
all
like,
go for it. But-
he's straight down.
I mean, my thought very much, I'm going to piggyback on this straight away, because I think it links in really well. I had exactly the same. My initial team was your final team, in terms of the 50
Oh.
hawks and the 10,000 rats. I was like, because then Hawks come down, they're scraping away at eyes, they'll fuck things up, right? Like they will. And sure, they're squishy. Like, you know, a hawk is still a bird, so it's got hollow bones. So if you grabbed one, you could fucking wreck a hawk.
Yeah,
like, if a hawk came down at you, like real talk now, say it came down with its talons, it would wreck. But as soon as it has that one attack, if it hangs around, it's fucked. It's so fucked.
Yeah.
Like, it's beyond fucked. Like, you could just rip its wings off. You could just absolutely butcher a hawk, right? But my thought was always just, all it takes, you're in a flat terrain, that hunter, you ain't surviving an hour. You ain't dodging bullets for an hour. Like, there's no fucking way. Like, no matter what you got in front of you, even if you got, like, a bear, you can't stay still for an hour with all this shit going on, all these creatures, and as soon as you're exposed, it's game over. So I think for me, I had to sub out one of them for the hunter with rifle. I think that just has to be the case. And like you guys have already kind of alluded to, when he dies, if he dies, you then have that gun, right? So that's like a major advantage. It's not like as if, you know, the 10 crocodiles, like, and then all of a sudden one of them can die and I can make an armor out of him like his Monster Hunter and then start going in and wrecking shit up. It's not going to work that way. But the hunter with the gun, you're good to go from there.
Can I counter argue that?
Please.
So, you said you can't hide forever. Why do I need to hide forever? Well, I need to hide long enough for 50 of my 10,000 rats to go and kill that hunter.
You think 50 rats would kill a person?
Yeah, easy.
No way. If we were in a conversation about how many rats could you kill, you'd go way higher than 50.
Nah, because he's going to be, right, the thing is, he's got a rifle.
Yeah.
So hands and feet are out the window. He's going to be trying to shoot them. And that's going to be the only thing on his mind. Do you know how hard it's going to be to shoot a rat moving fast? Do you know how difficult it is to shoot a moving target anyway? A small ass rat, he's going to get gnawed on, chewed on. They're going to kill him. I'm going to say, yo, bring me that rifle. I'm also, there's 9,000 rats about, 10,000 total. 1,000 of those are going to be surrounding me as armor. It's fine.
Rat armor, brilliant.
It's
brilliant.
fine, bro.
It kind of goes along the same way of thinking that I've gone down, really, with the rats, because that's a lot of rats. Okay?
So many rats.
And these are like normal rats. We're not talking like Resident Evil powered up rats, are we? Because we all know what happened to those when Leon, you know, burns them all to death in whatever Resident Evil that we reviewed for your channel.
That movie.
That's not going to happen, right? That's not real life. But we're in a football stadium for some strange reason, getting attacked by all these animals. I thought the quantity numbers that you went down was a really good idea. But I like using the rats for something other than them attacking people. Now, I thought maybe I could build myself a bunker with said rats, okay? So I'm not going to suddenly, you know, ask the rats to do this. I'm not like, go rats, bunker mode or something, right? They're not going to suddenly turn into a bunker for me. But what they could do is sacrifice themselves for me, okay? So I'm sat there with my mate, the hunter. I've got his rifle. I'm not going to use the bullets, even though they're unlimited. I'm not going to use them because it would draw attention to myself. I'm going to club every single rat, and then I'm going to build a bunker, brick by brick or rat by rat, to build myself almost a wall, okay? Little peek vision through, so I can rest the gun, or the hunter can rest the gun initially, and then when he gets killed, I can take over if the hawks fly over the top, because we're probably not going to have enough rats to do a full top to the bunker and a back to the bunker. This is just like a front shield. Think the auger from Resistance, okay? That's my rat shield, and then I'm poking through with the hunter's rifle. So those were the two that I was going to pick. But I'm glad we've all kind of thought of the same things there, with using the rats for something other than just being rats, because I think they're not really going to kill a lot unless they either swarm something and suffocate something, and then you've got to use a lot of them. But something like 50 rats ain't going to kill a man, I don't think.
I'm thinking, no way, 50 rats. I reckon if I went in, fuck the gun, if I went in just me and 50 rats, I'd be walking out of that with nothing, mate. I'd be stomping and kicking and punching those things. They'd just be exploding. Easy. 50.
You've clearly never played Plague Tale.
Mate, they've never seen me. Like, dude, 50 rats, bro, and they get squished. They'd be nothing.
When was the last time you held a rat?
I held a rat. My mate had 2 rats. that he had as pets, and they were lovely, and they used to sit on my shoulder.
They are
They were
lovely,
class. They're lovely.
And now
right?
he's only got one. They're so easy to kill. Twist of the neck, gone, right?
He's in my
them.
concrete now. He's part of my house.
He also had 15 wolves. Gone. Really easy to kill. You just kick them. They're like dogs.
Thumb in the eyes, mate. That's all it takes.
thumb in the eyes for a wolf. But no, I think this is. I think we've nailed it in terms of the rats. I think they're a mainstay. They're on all of our teams, and mine and Phil's team is exactly the same in terms of the hunter with a rifle and the 10,000 rats. I think that is the team.
Okay,
but
then what do you do with wolf?
my tactic's very different from Phil's. The hunter for me is focused first on the lions, right? Lions, I just looked this up. They run 80 kilometers an hour. They will be on you so fast. Before you get a chance to be able to club enough rats to build a bunker, they are on you, right? So the hunter's job is to take out everything that's fast moving, which is the 3 brown bears are the slowest of these 3 I'm going to talk through now. The 4 lions, priority 1, 80 miles an hour, and a pack of lions. You know, no matter how confident I am as a man of our species dominance, we ain't living that. That's immediate game over. So the hunter's job, take on those fast moving targets. He's going to fire off 4 shots straight away, take out 4 lions. The rest of them then are going to be getting close. Rats, go. And they just swarm, bro. Like, those 15 wolves and those bears, they're going to be dealing, like, fighting all these rats off. And I'm still in the mix. Running straight away, I'm just laying into them. My chance to prove and finally settle how many wolves I can take on. But I've got rats aiding me in it. So the wolves are like, getting their legs all torn up. And then I just come in straight away, just bow one over. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Give him some of that. Give him the thumb in the eyes. Just wreck them.
Bro.
While the hunter, after he's done with his stuff, he then starts taking out eagles. As I said, I can take a few shots from an eagle, right? They can come down and have a swipe on me. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. And after I've killed a few of them, the hunter then is focused on him. And the rest of the time, everything else is dead, right? The crocs are just, by the time they get to us, it's all fucking over, right? The rats are really taking them out. The rest of the hawks, as they're coming down, I could just hunker under a bear. Like a dead bear carcass, just put it over me and wait the time out. They ain't getting through that. GG's. That's how you do it, boys.
So, hang on. So, you yourself as a human, unarmed, could take 50 rats. Yet, those same rats would beat the wolves with you.
Yeah, because there's 10,000. I couldn't take out 10,000. But if we just split that 10,000 across 15 wolves, you're talking like 900 odd fucking rats per wolf. And wolves are pussies, bro. I don't reckon they could take 50 rats. They ain't a human. They couldn't do it. They'd get mauled. And they're so much lower, the rat doesn't have to travel up far before it starts burrowing in. And I'd be like, burrow through the eyes. And the rats would be straight in every orifice, both ends, meet in the middle, done, right? The 2 rats could probably take out a wolf by my distraction tactics. 15 rats, come up and start gnawing at them. The wolf's trying. 1 goes out the poop, 1 goes through the mouth.
They
meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Yuck. Meet in the middle, come out the other end. So then you got, the pooey rat gets cleaned off by the mouth end on the way out. So they both come out quite clean and fresh, ready for the next attack. And that's how it's done. The hawks would be a struggle, but from that point, I just hunker down under a bear's carcass and wait it out, baby.
That's like assuming the hawks don't attack until you've finished everything else.
Oh, yeah, but 50 hawks ain't going to do fuck on their own. Like, no way.
Have you seen a hawk, bro?
Yeah, I know, mate. But as soon as they come down and claw, they're going to have to deal with everything else that's going. And I can get the rats to always, like, stand up on each other, like, make a ladder. And I can get up there.
Bro, honestly, ridiculous.
Rat ladder. So we've got rat armor, we've got a rat bunker, and now we've got a rat ladder. Brilliant.
Yeah, to get up there and start smoking them.
None of the other animals, transform into anything else. It's only the rats for some strange reason. It's not like I could have the lion on my side and say, lion, transform into like a car. And I'm driving around in my lion car.
I think it's like the rats we're thinking works like Ant-Man, how he speaks to the ants.
Right.
We're thinking we could get the rats to kind of do the
Yeah.
same thing. And I'll tell you, the optimal strat, I've rethought this during this conversation. I'm sticking with my two, hawks and rats, because they're the only two you literally can't beat. And if you say otherwise, you're a fucking fool. Tell you right now. What you want is the hawks coming down, clawing at everything, because it's more hawks than everything else anyway, if you get rid of the rats. And then the rats are going to be a moving like escalator. They're just the floor, pushing everything away from you. Whilst the hawks just slowly kill everything, and you just sit there and watch, bro.
I'm just thinking, mate, that like those bears won't give a fuck about rats. Like, you know, if it's a case that the rat's primary function is your travel around the arena, so it's not like they can swarm them. They're like having to support your weight, which you're probably going to kill a fuck ton of rats just by lying on them.
You only got to survive an hour.
Yeah,
There's
but
10,000
those bears would barrel through those rats if their only function isn't to swarm the bears and, you know, go through the pooper or anything else, as we already know that's a winning tactic against a wolf. If their job is to carry you around the place, one, you'll get sniped frame one.
No. Their job is to push everyone else back whilst those 50 kill the hunter, and then they bring me the gun. So whilst everyone's getting pushed back, you just
there's too many things going wrong here, and I think that the bears and the buffalo were just going to run wild, wild through the rats. But Phil, you've been desperate to come in on this.
Yeah, and I really like, you know, having the hunter on my side, but I want to dig into his background and his sort of motives here, because hunters, they're very famous for killing big game, and you've got a lot of big game in here with the lions, the gorillas, the buffaloes, and they want to keep them as almost trophies, don't they? So by the end of this, regardless if you were a little bit scraped, you know, from the hawks attacking you in the face, you're going to walk out with some pretty sick crocodile shoes, aren't you? And a nice lion pelt for the home. Keep you nice and warm when you're back. So there is benefits to going through this ordeal somehow, and I'm going to be very conscious next time I go to a football game and keep my eye out just in case I do see any lions or rats during my trip to Anfield next time I go.
The thing about it is, you can come out of this like Craven the Hunter kind of apparel, can't you? You know, with the wolf, you can get some wolf like kind of fur topping the top of your boots. You got a lion mane jacket.
Nice.
Very nice. It said crocodile shoes.
Yep.
And, you know, 50 hawks. I could do something with that. I don't know what. Oh, downing inside. Make it like a nice little padded inside so it's nice and warm, toasty.
And you forgot the obvious Simpsons reference with the gorilla vest.
Yes, exactly. And for me, after everything else is done, I survived. Kill the hunter and, you know.
Take his wife.
Have some human flesh. And share that with the rats that are now my homies. And we all live together. And that's the way it is. But audience, I would love to know your thoughts on this. Which two are you going to pick? It seems like rats are the mainstay. Do you agree? Let us know. Write in email pswetrust@gmail.com. Hit us up on the socials. All links for the show are in the description. Let's move it on to what we've been playing.
This time on NPS We Trust. What have the boys been playing?
So guys, it's been 2 weeks since the last podcast episode, and I'm desperate to know what you've been up to in your time. Phil, I'm actually going to come across to yourself because I haven't heard what you've been up to for like 4 weeks. So what have you been playing?
Well, Davey, it's a bit of a shock, so I better consult my notes quickly. Well, here we go. I'm glad I've got them together for this part of the show because I've wrote some interesting notes on the 2 games that I have been playing on PlayStation. I'm not going to talk about League because, yeah, I've talked a lot about League, and this is a PlayStation podcast, so we should concentrate on the PlayStation games that I've been playing. You guys know I've been playing Dead Space Remake, and just a quick update on my progress on that game. I'm on chapter 6 out of 12. So I've played about 7 hours. The chapter is called Environmental Hazard, okay? And a Google around earlier said Dead Space Remake is about 12 hours to mainline, 30 hours if you want to complete everything. So that probably sticks about the right timeline. I haven't been wasting too long because, of course, I find Dead Space quite linear, and I'll come back to that point in a second. Just to give you an idea of story, where I'm at, I've just met Dr. Mercer. Is that right? And I've been chased by a red necromorph who regenerates. I froze him in the ice chamber after cutting off both his legs and using my status to slow him down, which was an interesting boss fight and ultimately scary as you're running away from that red necromorph. I'm currently feeling like this game is an 8 out of 10. Okay, I'm not giving it the full 10 out of 10 or the 9 out of 10 because it's not Resident Evil. Okay, and of course I can say that because we're at the start of the show. I sort of mentioned last time I was on and talking about Dead Space. I mentioned about speed was a bit of a problem for the game. It feels very, very fast. I feel like I'm being led down a path with Dead Space as opposed to sort of instead of exploring the Ishimura. Okay, the story is great, but I don't really find there's that much mystery in what's happening. Okay, I kind of understand what's generally happening, and it's not the most kind of, oh my god, that's what's going to happen, right? There's no big reveal up to now, but there might be obviously later on in the game, okay? And I'm pretty sure I could chat about the differences between Resident Evil and sort of Dead Space, and I'm sure you guys love to take that conversation off, but we won't because we'll be here for the rest of the show. As I said, it's an 8 out of 10, but it's not a Resident Evil. But I am very much enjoying this game, and that is my direct comparison when it comes to survival horror games, because I would rate that as being my favourite of the survival horror genre, being Resident Evil, rather than, of course, Silent Hill. I'd probably rate sort of Dead Space, maybe the second or third. I need to play the remake of Silent Hill to get a proper understanding of that. But for me, I think Resident Evil is still top of the shot.
Fair. I think it's an interesting point to make, and especially with Dead Space, what it does very well, in my opinion, is you've got that ability to click in your analog stick and see where you're supposed to go. It paths you through, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. I fucking love that little feature because it just makes exploration just that much quicker. Where you could be like, right, I'm supposed to go here, I'm going to go the other way, and I really like that. I think that your criticism when it comes to like the story and stuff, I think you just have to wait and see because it's only just starting to cook where you are now with the introduction of Dr. Mercer and everything. So wait and see. And all I would encourage you to do, and I'm sure you have, because you're part of the old school style survival horror, just read everything you can because there's so much lore, and it's such a really interesting world that's told really, really well through like audio logs or through just written text documents, especially when it comes to like the history of the Church of Unitology and all that. So good. There's so much there.
Sick, man.
And yeah, you'd be doing a disservice if you weren't doing that, but I'm sure you are. But it'd be interesting when you get to the end to see if that opinion changes, because it does very much. There's very much a story here that you're yet to experience. But I don't know if you want to go into any more than that, Spence.
Nah. All I'll say is I reckon by the time you're done, that rating's going to be higher.
There's a lot of pressure on me to think better of this game, but currently is that 8 out of 10. And when I was talking about sort of exploration and sort of being led down a garden path with the click of the analog button, like, it takes away the mystery for me. It's not like Resident Evil where like you turn a corner and you're like, should I be going down there? And it's not like Dino Crisis where if I go down here, I'm definitely going to be losing a shit ton of health because I'm definitely going the wrong way. And it takes away all that out of it. So that's something I kind of miss and I associate with survival horror very, very closely, is that kind of not knowing where you are and that sense of mystery that's there. And I'm not really feeling that within Dead Space. Do you feel like that's a fair criticism?
I do. There's a lot of side quests in Dead Space Remake that they added in, which is really nice, that make backtracking really useful. And the thing about it then is that you'll have objective markers that you can look at around the map and kind of plot them in. And they're really helpful to be able to do. I think the difference is, whereas something like Resi, for example, especially old school Resi, if we're taking it to that comparison, is you don't know where you're going to a certain extent for the first hour or so. And after that, you're very clear on where you need to go. And it's kind of that first hour when you're going up to doors and you're filling in the map. You're going up and pressing X on it. Oh, there's a lock. I need the heart key for this. You kind of know then, where you go. And it's more a case of your decision-making with traversing that map is really important. I know that this way I've cleared everything. This way I haven't. I'll make sure I go the longer way and hope that there's nothing else kind of come up. But you get a kind of level of comfort around the map as you kind of more as you experience that game as like the old school Resis, and they kind of move on. Whereas
Yeah.
Dead Space, the thing for me is, you know you're going down a linear path, but with the AI system, depending on how well you're doing, things could pop out of grates or can't. You're always on alert. And I think that's the kind of difference to it. It's a different kind of style, and I get where you're coming from. To me, I like that feeling of constantly being on edge, rather than the fear of the unknown being like things can just happen in this area, rather than Resi, which is I know things are bad down here and I have to take this route. You know,
it's that sense of dread, right?
Yes.
You know it's going to happen, right? There's no safe rooms, is there, in Dead Space? You know, anything can attack you at any point, really. But with Resident Evil, you do feel safe in certain aspects of the game, and I like that juxtaposition. But yeah, you are right. I am feeling kind of on edge throughout the whole game, but the sense of mystery and I feel that's lacking a little bit, but that would be my only criticism up to now, but we'll have to see how that goes over the next couple of episodes, but I'm very much enjoying the game.
No, good. I'll be glad to hear it, mate. It's and I think it's a very fair criticism, you know, all things told. So we'll see how it builds. But what about the second game you've been playing then?
Yeah, so I've been playing another game on PlayStation. It was a free game. It was on the service, which was very, very nice. So I didn't have to pay for this one. And it's a game called Citizen Sleeper. So I was intrigued about this game after picking up Citizen Sleeper, Star Wars Vector for my Fantasy Critic, and it did very well. It scored me a 95, so it got me 15 points in the Metacritic. The Metacritic Fantasy League. So I
85.
thought, well,
Was it 85?
let me go back to the beginning. It scored me 85 on Metacritic, so it scored me 15 points within the Fantasy League. So I thought, well, let's go back. Let's find out what this game is about. I was intrigued by the graphics. I did a little Google, and Citizen Sleeper came out in 2022, and it's a tabletop-inspired narrative role-playing game. Okay, guys? So it's a little bit different, created by a company called Jump Over the Age. So to explain the game, it's vastly told in dialogue, okay? So it's very reminiscent of sort of an old school adventure book, if you like. Turn to page 6 if you have the sword. It's those kind of games, if you like, okay? And choice is determined by a roll of the dice, and you have varying amounts of dice within this game, depending on the cycle that you're on, the status that you have, and the energy you have. So there's lots of things that can affect the dice that you have and the number of dice you have, but that ultimately makes your choices for you. Okay, it's similar to a game I played recently. I actually replayed it when I went to the States, called Disco Elysium, which I absolutely loved. So this game is a bit of me, but it's a very slow-paced game. And I have to admit, it doesn't exactly show off the strength of the PlayStation Pro. It is a text game, if you like, and it has a couple of very static graphics of things to, I don't know, fuel your imagination with it, okay? So it is very much like reading a book with choices, which is great, okay? So this game is based on a ruined space station, and it has thousands of people trying to survive on the edge of an interstellar capitalist society, okay? And I did just that, right? The aim of the game is to get through... And that's just it. The aim is to survive, okay? That's your ultimate aim, is to survive on the space station or escape. And I did just that, okay? So I ended the game multiple times. I played all the different endings to the game, and all of them were very emotional once you get to the certain parts of it, especially the parts where there is a father and a daughter, and you're helping them either escape or not escape the space station. And there is a point where it could bring a tear to your eye, depending on how invested you are actually reading the story. It did get me. So I played around 18 hours of this game. I've got really suckered into it, okay? And it's a perfect palate cleanser for a game like Dead Space, which is a lot more of an intense situation. This one is, you can just sit back and just, enjoy it. You could be on your phone, but ultimately you're just reading a story there. It's great for the Portal. It's very low tech, if you like. And guys, I've got something to announce. I actually got the platinum for this game.
Ooh, that's a platinum.
Well done, man.
Super well done.
That's sick.
No, that's awesome, man. So I guess this is a platinum on your UK account then, right?
No, actually, because I can share games. So I shared games across it to the US account. So I've actually platinumed
Great
it
idea.
over on my US account, which is very, very nice.
Cheeky.
And I probably wouldn't have gone to the extent of platinum in it if it was on the UK account, because I try not to platinum things when I'm over there. It tends to be more platinum driven towards my US accounts. But yeah, it all seemed to work quite well once I got that set up. And yeah, I just got invested, and it just took me away. It was just one of those games I just fell in love with as I was playing it. And I think I'm gonna purchase Citizen Sleeper 2 and get into that.
Wow.
No, that's amazing, mate. That's so good. It's great whenever these games come up on the service, and it gives you a chance to really like dive in. It's like when I was talking about Killer Frequency a couple of weeks ago. You know, it's just those games that you think, oh yeah, do you know what, I'll give it a punt, I'll give it a try, and then before you know it, you're deep into the experience. Really fucking well done. I'm glad to hear this is good, and this sounds like something for myself actually, maybe for a couple of months' time, because I'm kind of knee deep into a couple of experiences that I'll talk through in a moment, but when the mood strikes me for a different kind of flavor of game, this, you know, that's high recommendations whenever you get a platinum. Speaking of recommendations, have you got a score that you're thinking of chucking in on this?
Well, I gave Dead Space an 8 out of 10. And this was the game that took me away from Dead Space for 18 hours. And I actually platinumed this game, as I said. So I'm going to go with the 9 out of 10 for this game. I've really, really enjoyed it. But I think it's the style of game. I quite like it being very, very different to the normal run-of-the-mill games, which I very much enjoy. And having, you know, absolutely fallen in love with Disco Elysium, I kind of wanted more of that style of game. And to kind of fall into playing this one and the style of the story and the setting, yeah, I just fell in love with it. So, yeah, 9 out of 10 for this game.
Fantastic. Spence, have you got any interest in checking this game out?
Wait, absolutely. I was interested when I first saw it pop onto the service. Is that, this is a genuine question, by the way, is this the first time we've used the platinum jingle for Mr. Hoy?
No.
Because I think, I know you've earned platinums, sure, but I think it's been a while. I think this is the first time since we've added the jingle.
No way. We'd have to fact check that. You know,
yeah,
we'd have to.
I'm not sure on that one. I have definitely had a few platinums, and I did like a run of like 4 in a row. I think maybe last year, year before. But this one in recent memory would be the first one in a while. Yeah. I don't tend to platinum games, but the shorter experience, 18 hours, it was, you know, doable if you like. And there wasn't anything in there that, you know, needed me to play the game 20 separate times. You only have to play the game through twice. And once you've read all the story, replaying the game is just a sense of hammering X, you know, ultimately, and then making that choice at the end.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Glad to hear it, mate. This is definitely one, I think, Spence, that you and me can go out and earn ourselves a nice little cheeky play.
Yeah, I'll do it tonight.
18 hours.
18 hours in one night.
You probably do it a little quicker than me.
Well, I just won't read the story. What do you mean? Choices.
No.
I'll definitely, if you're giving it a 9 out of 10,
yeah,
I would never do that. I'll absolutely enjoy the experience.
That would be an absolute waste if you've gone in and missed the story. There is a particularly difficult part of the platinum because you wouldn't naturally make this choice because you're not an absolute bastard unless you are, okay, and you want to leave people behind and you escape and take the ticket off the space center. But I had to have a look at exactly what conversation you had to have to be able to get this, and there's a part in it that's very missable. But I was reading it through, and there was a couple of comments on there, and people were like, I didn't even read the story. And I'm like, that is such a crime with this game because it's all about the story. There is zero graphics. There is zero kind of game in it, really. Ultimately, it's just a beautiful story.
It's a visual novel kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm looking forward to this. You're really hyping me up on it. Really, really am. But we unfortunately can't spend all podcast dissecting Citizen Sleeper. So let's move it on. And I'm going to move it over to yourself, Spence. What have you been up to the last couple of weeks?
I've been playing fucking golf, boys. Now, let me get it straight, right? Sure, I've had a few games on an actual golf course in Ridgeway. Sure, they might not have gone too well. However, a while ago, we got PGA 2K23 for free on the service. And let me tell you, I'm the fucking best in that. I've won 2 PGA events. I've won an Open before then as well. It's great. It's so fun. And it's actually really hard. So basically, you load in, you start your career. So you have to go to open events and try and place well to then get accepted into the PGA. And then your career evolves into, once you're in the PGA, you choose other players, you form rivalries, you have to outplace them and just do as best you can. The way the game works is you line yourself up like it's fucking Wii bowling or whatever with the left stick. You choose where you're going to aim. You up and down to choose your power, how much you want to put in the swing. And then the swing is where it all comes in. So on the right stick, you flick down for the backswing. But if you flick too fast, you'll fuck it. If you flick too slow, you'll fuck it. If on your down pull, it's too left or too right, you'll fuck it. You have to pull straight down at the right speed for the right amount of time to then flick forward at the right speed, keeping it in the middle at the right time to hit the ball with perfect contact. It's so fucking difficult. It's like you're playing golf in real life, but on a controller. And let's be honest, not as hard. It's really difficult. It's not as hard as real golf because, let's be honest, it never will be. But it's really fun.
Sounds like glorified Pokemon Go. Because
Yeah.
you've got to get your flick correct in Pokemon Go, haven't you, to get those spin shots and collect those shinies. It sounds very much like repetition to be able to do a single task very, very well. And ultimately, that's what video gaming is, I suppose, but on a broader spectrum. But I can understand why you've got into this, Spence, because you are golf obsessed at the moment. And yeah, it's interesting because I'm a massive football fan, but I never find myself really enjoying football games. So it's interesting that because you've got so into golf, you've now transitioned into playing it virtually as well. You must be really into it currently. But my question for you is, like most sports games or wrestling games, there's a character creation tool within them. Do you end up with some wacky people on the course, with like crazy hair or, flamboyant trousers on? Or is it very, normal sort of golf styles that you would see?
Well, for me, on the my career thing, which is majority of what I've done, you play as pro golfer. That's your name. You are pro golfer. And I'm using the default fucking dude. All I've given him is a bucket hat. Oh, actually, no, now he's got a visor. Quite a slick little ping visor, which is a good golf brand. And he's got like a nice tattoo golf top and trousers. And that's it. He's just a default bloke. And everyone else that you play against is like real golfers. So you're playing against John Rahm, Tiger Woods, bloody... Can't even think of another one at the minute because I've had a few too many bevs. There's a really good one, that Rory something. McIlroy, there we are. Massive. Can't believe I forgot. But I played one ranked game because this game has competitive. And it's got like bronze, silver, gold, plat, master, shit like that as well. And it forces you to play on the hardest difficulty when you play ranked. Fuck, it's solid, mate. And I was playing against a 3-foot tall dude with like massive arms, but he's 3 foot. It was hideous.
So like Street Fighter.
Bro, he smoked me. Smoked me, bro. I got annihilated. He was like, hole in one. I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, so when you play the normal game, it's actual golfers and then whatever amalgamation you've created yourself. When you're online, yes, it could be anything, man.
When you're describing the swing on this and the way it works, could you cheat this by using a hitbox?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Why don't you do that, bro? And go online. Have you got a hitbox?
They're 200 quid a hitbox, mate.
Mate,
what do you
think about your golf career. Think about you'll grind up to master rank. Maybe everyone's using a hitbox, and maybe that's your way to be able to do it. Because then you'd have a perfect lineup every single time, and it would just be getting the timing right for the down and up. That's all you need to worry about.
How boring would it be?
Yeah, but how good would it be to be in master rank on PGA 2K23?
Have you seen those people that cheat on Pokemon Go as well, where they put like kind of a blocker on the screen and it's just the action on the screen, so your finger can't like zigzag or anything like that. So it's along those lines, really.
Yeah, it's exactly that. That's the exact thing I thought. I thought I could just put like 1 or 2 rubber bands around my analog stick, and I'd probably get straight flicks every time. But what I do, I just put my thumb. So you hold your pad normally like this.
Yeah.
I put my hand like sideways, so my thumb's level with the stick,
Right.
and then I flick
Oh.
down and up, and that's the way I do it.
The secret
it's-
tech.
Yeah, and it's working, but mate, it's fun. And then when you putt, it's like actual. You got to account for the undulation, the like
What?
how far undulation is like the lay of the land. It's like how
Oh,
far
right.
downhill it is. You got to account for everything, and it's solid, man. It's really good. It's really fun. And I think when you're playing it virtually, this is why I like it. Putting especially, it kind of gives you an idea of what it would be like on a real golf course, on how you'd have to hit the ball in that situation.
Do you
So
find
it
then?
kind of gives you something to compare to.
Do you find that since playing PGA 2K23, that you've been able to put the lessons learned from that into your real golf game?
I haven't played real golf since I started playing PGA 2K23.
Oh,
So who
that'd be
knows?
wild, wouldn't it? Is Ridgeway on there? Because you could like get fucking smoked on it
Bro.
and then turn up. Oh, yeah, I know.
I
this.
tried. There's community made maps that you can play golf on, and some of them are nuts. Some are like putting only, stuff like that. There's a lot of fun ones. I looked for Ridgeway, and there's a lot of Ridgeways on there. I don't think any of them are the actual Ridgeway. So the one I downloaded the other day is Celtic Manor.
Oh,
And
I
I'm
was gonna
gonna-
ask, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn the Celtic Manor course, and then one day I'll go and play it. Who knows? Might work out well. I'm really bad at golf, so probably not. Who knows?
I wouldn't mind coming for a game of golf, mate. I reckon it'd be a laugh.
We're
And-
gonna do it, mate. We've already said we'll do it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, though. I got a feeling that like you and Phil will probably take it quite serious, and I won't give like,
Us? Take it serious?
I will.
And yeah, you'll be like proper sweating it, like with
Yeah.
your own gear, your own little fucking gay ass visor, and all this shit. And I'm turning up in skate shoes and fucking baggy jeans or whatever, just having a good time, bashing stuff with a hockey stick. Be like Happy Gilmore, but without
Oh,
me
yeah.
actually being cracked. You know, I'd be
Mate, it's-
terrible.
You don't need. I wear what I wear now. That's what I wear to golf. It's
Oh.
fine. Trousers, top, you're fine, and just normal shoes.
Probably not at the Celtic, but Ridgeway probably.
Yeah, Ridgeway, mate. You can go in tracky bottoms. You're fine.
They're just happy you're there.
They're buzzing you there, mate. They're gassed. Yeah, they're chucking you on the course.
Right, well, let's move on from the golf. I'm glad you're enjoying it, though, so
Yeah,
far.
yeah,
Do you feel confident enough to give it a rating, Spence?
As a it's a bit hard to rate, as it's its own kind of thing, isn't it? 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, because as a golf game, it's the only way it could be. Like, it couldn't be better for a golf game, I feel.
What about mini golf VR?
That's the thing. It's not a VR game, is it?
Hmm. Okay.
So if it was a VR, like there's this game called Golf Plus on MetaQuest where you get a weighted like controller and it feels like you're really playing golf. And that's really good. This, because it's a controller thing, this is probably the best you're ever going to conceivably get. So it kind of has to be 10 out of 10. But PGA 25 is apparently the best one they've ever made. Everyone's raving about it. So who knows?
Jesus.
Who knows?
Well, your birthday's coming up, mate. Maybe I'll treat you to 25.
Bro, I'm pre-ordering that shit. You ain't even need to.
Jesus Christ. Well, let's move on from fucking golf. I don't know what's better, golf talk or League of Legends talk. Both things I'm equally not interested in, but I'm glad you guys are happy. So what else have you been playing then, Spence?
Sure, mate. Sure. So the next one, I actually meant to mention last episode, and it just completely slipped my mind. Big fan of the game, Lewis introduced us to Balatro. And since he told us about it, I bought the game. I've bought it again on mobile, same as he did. I
Doing
bought
a
it
Lewis.
twice as well.
Everyone.
Yeah, so I've played it for maybe like 3 hours on my phone, maybe 2. So not that much. It's just if I'm bored, I'll whip it out. I'm not like obsessed with it where I'm on my phone all day. But I've played it for 18 hours on the PS5, same as Sits
Wow.
and Sleeper for you, Phil. And bro, Balatro is fucking sick. It's such a good game. I completely understand why it was nominated. Lewis's description of it as well was perfect when he mentioned what it is. You get a deck, you get to pick what deck you want to use. So the one I'm using constantly is a deck completely made up of half hearts and half spades, and you just play for flushes. And you get jokers that kind of complement that, and you just try to get as far as you can, and it's a roguelike. It's bloody fucking brilliant. Really good.
So, the big question on my lips, mate. Obviously, you're singing the praises like everyone is. If you had played this prior to the end of last year, where would it have come in your list?
I don't think, as brilliant as Balatro is, because it is phenomenal, it's not much of an experience. It's a very simple game, and it's a very one-dimensional game. You do this one thing on repeat. That is all it is. As much as I love it and I'm addicted to it, I do want to keep playing it. I don't think it would have made my list because it's not an experience. It's just a phenomenal way to kill time.
Fair enough. Well, I'm looking forward to checking this out. I definitely, as you bought it, I'll download it myself. I'll give it a go. I'll be very surprised if it manages to get a double dip from me, though, because I don't game on my phone like ever. So I'll be very surprised. But who knows? Maybe I'll be coming in with the, I've done what Lewis has done and own it on literally everything known to man. We'll see kind of how it goes. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. I really am. So moving on to myself, I've got just an update before then I go into a game that you and me have been playing, Spence. So the update is Lies of P. I am now 20 hours into the experience. I am right at the end of it. Now, I've been following a platinum guide to be able to see how I can do some of this stuff and see what I have to do because it's a very choice-heavy game. So I was thinking, right, well, I don't want to have to do several playthroughs if I don't have to, so I'll have a little look. And it turns out that I've actually been playing it pretty much perfectly up to this point. And there's now, right at the end, I think I've got 2 bosses left. And it's after the next boss, I then need to make up a backup save on PS Plus. So that I can go and potentially get all 3 endings by reloading and making a choice, which is fantastic. So that would save me like 4 playthroughs through. But to be able to get the Platy, I will still need to go into New Game Plus and play the majority of the game through, again, to collect records, which only spawn in that playthrough. But I gotta say, guys, I'm fucking loving it. I can't put it down. I want to just be playing it all the time. It is absolutely fucking incredible. We said before on the show that it was like Bloodborne. And it is, right? It is. I think, gameplay-wise, I think it's better.
Wow.
Which is nuts to say. The systems in this with, like, being able to create your own weapon and, like, the stagger system are just awesome. Like, so good. And the story's miles better than Bloodborne, because Bloodborne, like all Souls games, you don't really know what the story is, and you kind of have to read all documents to get it. Whereas this has a lot of documentation and lore, but it's easy to follow. And I understand who the characters are that they're talking about, and I'm piecing it together myself before then the game kind of gives you those kind of like big kick up the arse reveals, and there's loads of those. Where I don't think it's better than Bloodborne, and the reason why I don't think it is as good as Bloodborne overall, is that the bosses are nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
Like, Bloodborne's got amazing areas, which are just absolutely fucking incredible, and it tops those with having, in my opinion, the best bosses that FromSoft have ever done. I really, really, seeing like Orphan of Kos and seeing like some of these baddies that just stick with me just forever. And that was my first Souls experience, so I'm gonna very much weight it that way. Seeing Lawrence, man, and the fucking pulling out the Moonlight Greatsword on his second phase, that would just stay with me forever, I think, in terms of that. But I don't think the bosses are anywhere near the kind of level that you get in Bloodborne. But the moment-to-moment gameplay I prefer, if that makes any sense. So it's a tough one. I could walk it back by playing Bloodborne again, because it's been a few years. But I think for me, at this point, I'm very confident to rate Lies of P. And I think I've been kind of torn on this, because I was thinking for a while I might give it a 10 out of 10. but I'm not. I'm going to settle for a 9, potentially a 9.5. And
Wow.
Still.
yeah,
Wow.
it's very, very high. I have been absolutely loving it. And I don't have any critiques other than the bosses are good, but not great. And I mean, is that much of a critique? I don't know. Like, there's still fantastic fights, but nothing on the level of Bloodborne.
Is that also a critique on your build?
Potentially, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, I think even though my build is cracked because I got that ability just to lay waste to things and eliminate half their health bar, generally that's a one-use thing, and then it's the rest of the boss fight to go through. And, like, I've had my ass kicked by certain bosses for ages until I've had to, like, learn them. But I just don't think they're as interesting as the bosses that are there in Souls. Like, you get into a second phase on a Souls boss, and it's always like, oh, fuck. Like, oh, no, not this. And you got to learn it all again, right? Whereas I'm expecting the second phase every single time, and it just always happens, and it's never quite as cool. So it's not like, you know, fighting Melania or something in Elden Ring, and I finally beat that first phase after fucking ages, and then it's a new health bar, and I'm like, oh no,
fuck.
oh no, and that's when the fight fucking begins. It's like, it's not like that. It's very much a case of I whittle through that first health bar so fast that I'm like, well, there's bound to be a second one, and oh, lo and behold, here it is, and it's just a slightly different moveset. It's not like a fundamental shift, but I do have a couple of bosses left, so it could surprise me at the end. But yeah. Very, very high rating on this, and I'm definitely going to earn the platinum on this. It might take me a couple of weeks, but I'm going to... next time I report on this, I'll have the platinum for sure.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. And Liza P was something that my mother-in-law bought me for Christmas, so it sounds like I'm not going to enjoy that game. But we did get an expansion for Liza P, which I don't know if I sniped off you, because it's now in my fantasy critic list. So it'd be interesting to know if you did bid on that one, because in September we are going to get the expansion to Liza P with Overture. And it looks incredible, but I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that expansion later on to prelude into our topic, which of course is the state of play.
Yeah, exactly right. No, I didn't bid on it. I've actually I've gone for some weird picks on the fantasy at the moment. I know we're not, you know, the audience haven't told us how often they want us to do this, so it's just coming up naturally. I've gone for Suikoden and Suikoden 2, which are getting remade and coming out in a couple of weeks. And those games are like fucking classic RPGs. So I thought, oh, that's quite a safe one to be able to have into the fantasy. So I've tried to divorce myself from my personal feelings, which I did last year on the Fantasy Critic, and gone for a little bit more. I've still got, you know, fuck me, I've gone for Midnight Walk. So I've very much gone for my personal taste. But I've tried to divorce myself a little bit from just the grabby. Because I don't even know how Liza P did on Metacritic. But I mean, from my rating, it would have scored a 95 to 90. Anywhere between there. I have to give it some more time away from it rather than, you know, I just fucking put it down a couple of hours ago. And I'm like, oh, I love this fucking game. So I definitely need some time away from it, some distance.
Did you have it?
Do you want to know? I
Yes,
have
I
it,
do.
yeah, I was going to say. So Liza P, for one, right? Liza P has an 80 Metascore.
80? Is that all?
80, but
Yeah.
then if I search Liza P Metacritic, the first result is Liza P 80 Metascore, and the second one is, does anyone else feel like Liza P got underrated?
Yeah. It's mega underrated.
And everyone else is saying it's a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10.
I'm pretty sure that actually stoked the fire beneath me bidding on this 2 weeks ago, because I saw it as an 80, and I think I saw that people were wanting it to be in the sort of 90s. So fingers crossed that sticks with the DLC, because I did very well last year picking up DLCs because they followed the same sort of line as the original games and did very well for me. So based off what you're saying, Davey, it looks very good for me to have the DLC for Liza P.
Hell yeah, mate! I can't wait. It's going to be a day one purchase, that DLC. And Spence, you bought Liza P. I'm going to buy it physical. I think I want to have it. I want to just have it. Yeah, I really am fucking vibing with this, and I'm already talking myself down from like putting it better than Bloodborne after like thinking about it a little bit more.
I told you, mate. You were
I don't know.
saying, mate, no, Stellar Blade. I went, no. Liza P.
Yeah, you were right. You were so right. And it's been fantastic. I'm really looking forward for yourself, Spence, actually playing the game that you bought and hearing your thoughts about it in the coming weeks. But we got a couple of games that we can talk about together here. And the first is I got invited into the Elden Ring Night Rain beta. It took place over the last weekend. And I am sorry to say that I basically had no time on this. It was my birthday weekend. I had the kids. And they did the typical FromSoft fucking thing that they seem to do every single beta, which is they set arbitrary times. So they set like, oh, you get a 2-hour window at 3 a.m. Oh, you get a 2-hour window now at 11 a.m. You know, there was one time where it could have been my time to play, and the servers didn't fucking work, right? Like, it was the first test, and it was fucked. I booked, like, time off from work and stuff, and it just didn't work. And it's like, brilliant, thanks. So I had no time on this. I had 10 minutes, I think, all told, in this beta, because Spence was like, oh, I think we got another hour left. I was like, fuck it. Karen, look after the kids. I'm going to play this. And no, it was 10 minutes before the beta shut. So, you know, I got in, killed a couple of enemies, and bounced. So I got nothing to really say on it. Spence, you managed to actually play quite a bit of this. I want to know your thoughts on Elden Ring Night Rain.
Sure, man. Yeah, I played it. You got in the beta, which meant I got in the beta because of game sharing. Brilliant. Thank you, PlayStation. Phenomenal. Because I couldn't even sign up. It wouldn't let me on the website for some reason. So I messaged you saying, mate, you need to get in. And you went, I will. And he did. I played it. I actually got into the game. I played as mostly this big bird dude he's like a paladin kind of thing. He's got like a big spear and a shield. And he's like the tank out of the 4 characters you get to play as. So you have him. You have kind of a knight kind of guy. You have Duchess, who's a woman who can go like stealth. She's like a rogue. And you have a mage. Those are your 4 choices. Fuck the mage. Didn't even try her. Never going to as well if we play this game. Why the fuck would I? What am I? Gay? Then, you know, I played the Duchess for a bit. I tried her out.
Brilliant.
Goes stealth. Cool. Not actually that fun, ultimately, because Night Rain's just all about killing shit. That's all it is. The bird dude, oh, he's sick, bruv. You get an ultimate ability where you launch into the sky and slam down with a massive AoE and shit. It's sick. But the way Elden Ring Night Rain works, you load in with 3 of you. You land into the lands between, and immediately there's kind of like a battle royale thing around you, like the zone closing. And before it closes, it basically closes leading you towards a boss fight. So you have to go with it to go towards where it wants you to fight this boss. And before it closes, you want to try get to as many dungeons or mini bosses as you can to get as strong as you can to be able to take on that encounter that it's forcing you to fight. In terms of gameplay, in terms of structure, it's literally just Elden Ring. Controls the same. But it's missing the exploration that Elden Ring brings. That's about it. It's just a roguelike. You carry on, kill shit, lead on the bosses, then it resets, lead on to another boss. Once you beat that boss, there's a door that you go into, and it transports you into this different land. Kind of like if you go into an Everjail in Elden Ring, which takes you to its own arena, but it's a different kind of arena. It's weird. But after you beat that boss, which I only did 1 time, it says, thank you for playing. That's the end. So in the full game, there'll be more. In the playtest, that was where it called it quits, and you get to keep playing. You have to just restart your run. So I only actually beat it 1 time, but I had a few runs, and it's good.
I was going to ask you about this, actually. Do you feel that it being so slimmed down, because I say 10 minutes, I probably had about half hour in it, right? And in that half hour, I very much felt like the things that I get a lot of joy out of these Souls-like experiences, in terms of that feeling of overcoming odds, that feeling of building my character and building my weapons and figuring out my own personal build and my way to be able to break that game to make it easier for myself, is kind of where I feel I get the most enjoyment out of these experiences, right? Like, and I felt that all that stuff was gone. And it felt like I was playing, and I don't mean to be redundant, but it just gave me a feeling like I'm playing Fortnite. And I don't know, I just couldn't shake that feeling, but I wasn't in it long enough for it to be able to change my mind. Am I on the right lines here, or is this something that I need to be kind of concerned about going into Night Rain, do you feel?
You're not wrong. It is very toned down, very slimmed down. Just get in there and kill shit. The whole creating your own build to kind of run over it as best you can is still prevalent in this. You're still able to, like, you spawn with, my character had the shield and the big spear. But by the time we got to that final boss, I was using a great sword and I was two-handing it. You can completely change your build on the fly if you find weapons good enough, and you just level up. There's no like strength requirements or dex requirements in this. You just level up, and a weapon will require level 9 or level 12. That's kind of how it works. So you're not stuck to a specific build. You can change it on the fly. But that being said, it's so slimmed down. Like you said, the best part of Elden Ring is getting to an area, struggling with it, and learning how to overcome it. That's what makes FromSoft games so good and Souls-like so good. This has none of that. It's just running over everything you see or dying and starting again. That is all it is. Honestly, from what I've played, I'd be fine giving this a miss.
Wow. That's wow. That's crazy, man. Seeing as how much we love this entire genre. And I suppose this leads into my second question, my follow-up on this. Do you feel that for people who aren't into Souls-like experiences, that this will bring those new kind of players into this world?
No, not at all. It's not, it doesn't, as much as it controls the same, it doesn't fundamentally work the same. It would give you a false sense of security going into the real game, because you've got two people with you on your side, and sure, you can play Elden Ring or Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne with friends. It doesn't work the same. You don't just load in with them. There's intricate mechanics. You need to, in Bloodborne, you need to find the calling, but the hunter's bell, and then summon them in using your insight, which is it costs to summon people. It's different. There's so much more intricacies in the actual FromSoft games, or the big ones, that it would be a bit daunting to someone who's played Night Rain and switches over, I think.
But do you feel that that the market for Night Rain would get those people that have never played Souls games and they'd buy Night Rain and have a good time with it? Or do you feel that you have to be like a Souls kind of player to be able to play Night Rain?
You don't need to be a Souls player to play Night Rain. The whole time I was playing Night Rain, I was thinking, fuck me, this feels like I'm playing Helldivers.
Right.
But
Interesting.
not to a level of what Helldivers 2 is, because Helldivers 2 does what it does at like the most polish it possibly could. This is like Elden Ring if they just cut stuff and whacked multiplayer in. That's literally all it is. When I first loaded the fucking playtest, actually, was when the servers were down, and it loaded me into Elden Ring, not even Night Rain. It loaded me into the normal arena where you normally are, or the home place.
The round table hold, right?
The round table hold it loaded me into. And in Night Rain, that's not supposed to be in the game. So this is clearly just a build of Elden Ring that they've cut shit from and changed slightly. Which obviously makes sense, but it's weird that I literally loaded into the wrong place.
And do you feel, because obviously we didn't get a chance to play with each other, not in like a, hey, take that how you will. Do you feel like if us three bought this game that we'd have a good time with it?
This is what I mean with saying it's like Helldivers, because you know how I said about Helldivers on the previous shows. If I wasn't playing it with you boys, I wouldn't play it at all. And Elden Ring Night Rain, I think, is very much the exact same thing. It's fun, sure, it's fun, but you're not ultimately making progress towards anything. And if I was playing it with you boys, sure, I'd love it. We'd have a great time. But it's not the game that's making that fun. It's the company. You could do that with any game. This isn't a must play. This isn't a must buy. This could be one of several different games that you'd play with your mates. That's basically all it is.
Very, very interesting. And it seems like they've made quite a strange choice here in the way they've changed and adapted Elden Ring for a wider market, because it's very much gone down a different route to how I imagined it would turn out. You know, we all just assumed it was going to be down the more Monster Hunter route, right? As opposed to kind of splicing Fortnite and Souls together, right? And forgive me if I'm wrong, guys, because I'm not a Souls guy, really, as much as I have a few of the games. That isn't my chosen sort of genre of game that I spend a lot of time in. But the Fortnite demographic and the Souls demographic, I'd imagine, are quite separate, quite different areas that we're sort of talking about here. I don't know how much crossover you get between the two. And if I'm a Fortnite player, I want a Fortnite experience, but maybe I'm now getting a little bit of Souls in it, so you're not really pleasing me there. But if I'm a Souls-like person and now you're giving me this kind of intrusive multiplayer that forces you to do certain aspects, then you're not really pleasing me there. So it doesn't sound positive to me from what you're saying there, Spence.
All I'll say there, you've kind of latched on to the Fortnite thing Davey said. It's not like Fortnite. It's Helldivers. It's Helldivers with an Elden Ring skin. It's not Fortnite. Davey might have seen it as Fortnite. It's not Fortnite. Well, it's not for the Fortnite market.
Even to just replace out that sentence, Fortnite with Helldivers, I feel like it applies the same, right?
No. Any kind of battle royale kind of experience.
Yeah, but Helldivers and Elden Ring aren't battle royale experiences. That's different.
No, but you get what I mean in terms of like it being a.
It just felt like a
live. It felt like a live service experience. Is what it felt like to me.
It is, yeah. It is a live service experience. That's correct, but not in the same way. Like Fortnite and Helldivers aren't fucking comparable. They're so different.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And this is Helldivers, but melee and faster paced. That's all it is.
Okay.
It's not the only thing that's Fortnite is the ring that's closing around you, but that's not to close around for the freaking final for you to fight someone else. That's just to lead you to a boss. That's all it is.
Which is the final to fight something else, isn't it?
No, but then you carry on. The game doesn't end. It carries on. It's just leading you to a boss. That's all it is. It's not Fortnite at all.
My question is, who is it pleasing, this type of game? Who is it for?
Fucking not me, mate. I don't know. It's not me. Lewis, maybe?
That's the thing. I'm not sure. I think going into this, I was wide-eyed and bushy-tailed that I'd be like immediately in love with it. And I think the issue is that because of how restrictive this beta has been, it's kind of turned me off because I didn't get a chance to play with Spence. So I think if we'd played it together, we probably would have fucking loved it, right? And it probably would have been a different kind of conversation. But because of how difficult it was to be able to sync up like schedules and to be able to like get together, especially on like my birthday weekend when I got children knocking about, it just wasn't meant to be. What I'm kind of hoping is that, you know, the game comes out in May. I'm hoping they have like an open beta for like a weekend or something, a little bit closer to the time, something like that. Like I really fucking hope so we can all get in and experience it together before having to put down the like 35 quid each.
I'd be really interested to see what the perception from everybody else is. I've not seen a lot on Twitter, and generally that's where, you know, I feel out the market a little bit more than anywhere else. And I've not heard a lot about this game. So I'm going to be keeping my eye very close to this one because, of course, it's in my fantasy critics. So I want it to do very well. But I did see this as a route into playing this style of game with you guys. So I'm a little bit disappointed you're not coming at me with 10 out of 10s.
Do you always want to make bets on the meta score?
Yeah.
Sure.
I always love a bet, mate. Always love a bet.
Ooh.
Go on, then. As you brought it up, you can go first.
Oh, I was going to say it's on Phil's freaking draft, mate.
Oh.
So 100, obviously. that isn't my score. I from what you're saying, it's so difficult, right? I've not played the game. This isn't my era of gaming. I'm just hoping the word Elden Ring carries it through. So I'm hoping it's going to be 80. And that is very much me, fingers crossed, based on what you've said and the relative negativity that I'm getting from you.
I've got an idea in my head of what it's going to be, but I don't. This is why I said for you to go first, by the way, because I'm the only one who's actually played it. I think if I say a number, one of you is going to go one lower, one of you is going to go one higher.
Cool.
So Davey, you go
Play
next.
the game. Play the game.
All right. Yeah, I would just for transparency's sake, I would have gone with 80 on this as well. And I think mostly carried from the fact that, it's the greatest hits of bosses. So it's going to do quite well in that regard. And
The
Elden
critics
Ring,
have to get to those bosses, mind.
yeah, true. Yeah, but they'll put the people who reviewed Elden Ring and the Souls games on this, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to put some scrubber on it. It's going to be a big release. I reckon it's going to score 82.
Damn. So an 80 and an 82.
Yeah.
All right. So I think what Night Rain is about a 68.
Whoa,
Wow.
But it's got Elden Ring tied in. So critics are going to give it a 75, 74.
Which one are you going for? 75 or 74?
I'll go 75.
75.
There's no reason for me to go lower when you boys are both higher than me. I'll go
Yeah,
75.
true. Yeah, true. Play the game.
Yeah, but I think it's like a 68, but people lick FromSoft's arsehole, so it'll go 75.
Wow. A 68 score from yourself's low, mind, isn't
Mate,
it?
it's not very good.
Fucking hell.
Damn.
Well, speaking of things that aren't very good, we're going to bring it on to our final game today. And Spence, you and me, we've been playing the shit out of. I think we're about 6 hours in now into Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, which we got free on PSN a little while ago. And before we go into the what will be a critique fest of this, I imagine, I do want to just ask you a question. When do you think this came out, Spence? Because I just checked this and it fucking shocked me to the core. When do you think this game came out?
Oh, shit. Oh. Fuck, what year is 2025? I think May 24.
Oh, wow. You're much closer than me. I thought this came out 2023, right? I thought it'd been out for a couple of years. No. Came out January last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
was going
only
to say
just
February
a year
and I thought I'd
old.
go later.
And I thought, it's bound to be older than that. Right, well, I'm not going to bore you all too much on this, because I think we can rant a bit, but I think this might be more of a conversation starter. We're 6 hours in. We've done quite a bit. The game profile saying we're about 42% through the game, so we're actually making some sizable progress. And we have just been mainlining the fuck out of it. And for all the cons that I'm sure we're going to get to in a moment, I got to say, the story itself, I am really enjoying. I am really enjoying. The characters have done so well. The Evil Justice League have been class. We've done our first boss battle against the Flash, and that was really fun. It's just a shame everything else around it fucking sucks ass.
It's terrible. It's really shit.
It's like the cutscenes are immense. Like we were cracking up. There's this cutscene with the Penguin, right? You got to recruit him.
Yeah.
And I think it was shown on a trailer that was shown at like like something like Game Awards or whatever it was. I'm sure it pinged something in my mind that I'd seen it before. And it's a trailer where the Penguin goes to run off and he gets zapped, right? And like Waller zaps him and he falls to the ground. And then Harley Quinn's like, oh no, he's getting up again. And he just gets zapped. He's on the ground like, "Ugh." and they're all just doing that for ages. They're all like Deadshot's like, I can't believe he's still running. And he's just getting electrocuted on the floor. And we were like fucking belly laughing, man. Like we absolutely loved it. And all the way up until that point, I thought, my God, this game's had a bad rap. And I don't know why, because it's not bad at all. From that moment, it opens up into what the game is, which are like these just missions where you just go and you just shoot these fucking random baddies and either defend a bus, defend a point, destroy 3 things, kill a set number of enemies, rinse, repeat. And that's it. And then every single mission it ends, you go onto like a little kind of Apex Legends win screen where somebody comes out and they're like, Harley Quinn might like pose or whatever, which you can set your custom pose that you unlock as you play the game. And then after that, it goes onto a bat pod, which takes fucking forever for it to fly in, land, and give you your gear. And let me tell you, Phil, all the gear is shit because the moment we booted the game, it gave us packs, right? For like saying thank you for playing the game for a whole year. And these were packs that would be immense for people who've been playing for the last year. So we've got weapons that our normal gun, if we were to start with, does like 100 damage. We're doing like 5,000. We literally kill everything in one shot.
Shit.
So anything we find is not as good as what we've already got. We got these glowing fucking guns and all these like villain synergy shit, which is great because it means we can steamroll through everything. But every time we see a boss, we're like, how many shots is it going to take? And nothing survived a clip so far.
They've just ruined their own game then.
Yeah.
Which was already terrible from from what you're saying.
No, the game was ruined. They're helping us get through it faster.
Yes, they are.
If anything, it's quite considerate, really.
But, I mean, how's your experience been, Spence?
Mate, this game's shit. It's really, really, really bad. But, like you're saying, the story and the cutscenes are actually great. This game, if it was a single player narrative experience, brilliant. It'd be such a good game. But they live serviced the fuck out of it, made all the missions the same, even when they're different. The objective's different, but you do the same thing. So no mission's actually different. It's one of the worst games I've played in a long time, I think, actually. Like, really, really bad.
Ouch.
Really bad. But the gameplay's secondary, weirdly. This is one of the first games where the gameplay is actually secondary and you just watch the cutscenes. You slog through the gameplay, which only takes 5 minutes at most, because it's nothing. And King Shark gets to the location you need to get to in seconds. For some reason, he's the fastest fucker there, and he's just a big shark that jumps.
Yeah, wild. It's mad.
Nuts. He's so fast. It's sick. And you get there, and then that's it. You just dance on the point till Davey's head pops, and he gets teleported there. And then you watch a great 10-minute cutscene.
Yeah.
And then 5 minutes gameplay, and then the same again. The cutscenes make the game. If this was a single-player linear experience, I'd love it. But ultimately, now, because of what it is, it's shit.
And can I just say, on kind of closing thoughts before, if you've got any questions, Phil, is that we have had bugs fucking galore, and it's time to hit the theme. When walls are spinning all around you, you can't properly aim your gun. You find you're falling through the world. I'll hunt you down 'cause you're a bug. I find the bugs, the big bad bugs. The Bug Hunter.
So sick.
Such a good theme. It's been ages since we played it. Spence, you are the resident bug hunter, but I feel like both of us have been having separate issues with this. Do you want to lead on first, mate? What issues have you had? And you can certainly talk about the ones that I've experienced too. Be my guest.
I was going to say, you said separate issues, but we very much had the same issues in different ways.
Yeah.
They're exactly the same. The only things I've had that you haven't is my game crashed. Just completely crashed one time. And I've had a lot of issues, but that's just with my PS5. That's the way it works sometimes. But the big bug, the big bad bug that we've had, the big bad bug, was just the two characters. So for me, Captain Boomerang just didn't exist. He was invisible. And you just see his gun floating around, which when you're playing a game for the cutscenes, makes those cutscenes not too great. And obviously, for me, it's Captain Boomerang, who you'd typically think not the biggest character. Davey, for you, it was Harley Quinn, who she's had her own standalone films. Everyone loves Harley Quinn. She's probably like she's probably one of the biggest names in DC at the minute.
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
And she has been for like the last 10 years. She doesn't exist for you, mate.
It's been fucking wild. And as Spence said, it just carries on. It doesn't stop. Like, you think, oh, well, by the end of this cutscene, it'll all be back to normal. No. There's a cutscene of where they gear up, right? And it was just looking at an empty opening locker just for Harley Quinn because I had no idea what she looked like. And it went on for hours. The only way we solved it is by coming out and go back in, and then it happened to a different character. And it just seemed, and on Spencer's one, because we had to resort to share screen and put like pin in the corner so we could actually see what was going on from the other's perspective. So then you could actually see a full cutscene piece between the two. On Spencer's one, it wasn't even limited to characters. There was jets that weren't appearing. So Green Lantern swatting at nothing. It's been fucked.
Oh my God.
Mate, it was also, you got stuck in a wall.
I got stuck in a girder, yeah. I just randomly got stuck in a girder. Like, I came out, I was in the menu when it went into a cutscene, came back, and Harley Quinn was fused into a girder. And I couldn't do anything about it. I had to just wait until Spence fucked off and got to the point so my head exploded, and I just popped out of it. It's been for a game that's a year old, and I thought it was longer than that. A game that's a year old, you would expect these basic things to be resolved because these are cutscenes and shit like that, and they're just prevalent all over the place. Let alone some of the traversal shit that I've had go on, where I get stuck under things or I get stuck around corners and overshoot things, and you think, oh, okay, how's that kind of happened? There's been so many weird little fucking things, and the cutscenes though is just seems to happen all the fucking time.
That's a real shame to hear. It just sounds like this game has so many issues that they're fighting against, and it's all caused by the developers, right? They've put together an obviously terrible game. They haven't put the extra effort in to sort of patch things because the initial sales were terrible, and that's probably why they haven't supported it to the level that they need to support this game. But you guys, it's obvious, right? The story was always going to be good because the IP is class, right? It's a very popular IP. These are characters that a lot of people love, so the story's always going to be somewhat there or thereabouts because they're working off great source material, aren't they? So that side of it does interest me, and I'm a bit gutted that I've missed out on these PlayStations, because part of what I really enjoy on a Thursday night is just having a laugh at a shit game, and this very much seems like it's that game.
Well, you don't have to worry, Mr. Hoy, because you can join in at any point. You don't have to be at the same point. You could just drop in, and we could give you, in 10 minutes, we could give you the full backstory where we are.
Okay.
It wouldn't take long.
Oh, mate.
Is it?
Nothing's happened.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Nothing's happened. The only benefit, I think, is that because this is a game, not like a film or a show, they're not restricted to their runtime. So when there's a gag in the cutscene, like that penguin getting shocked, they can just keep it going for like 2 minutes. And it's just, it's great. It's funny.
It's class.
But that's it. That's all the game has.
But you can join in with us.
So say I do join in with you guys, and I am mainly joining for these cutscenes to see where the story, if there is a story, goes somewhere. But ultimately, what is the aim of this game now that you have all the amazing weapons given to you just by joining the game a little later?
Well, there isn't really. It's undercut itself, because the whole point is, like, you'll get onto an area and it'd be like, right, your goal is to kill the Flash. But to do that, you should really focus on your gear. And we're like, no, we'll just click on the Flash fight. And then we just travel over to it. And the whole time it's like, you should really do some other stuff. Your levels aren't there. You haven't, you need to level up. And we're like, no, we'll be fine. And then you just get in, and because we got these fucking god guns, we're just absolutely smoking shit, right? So there isn't a point. There is no point to the gameplay at all, because we got nothing to gain from actually partaking in it.
Mate, if this was an animated movie, it'd be like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, the cutscenes were actually immense.
Yeah,
and they're worth going through the inconvenience of the gameplay to be able to enjoy, because it is an inconvenience. It is complete inconvenience, because like even the end, when we get like our fucking bat, we gotta watch that fucking bat pod fly in, which takes 30 seconds.
It's unskippable.
Yeah, it's completely unskippable.
And it's after every mission, and you do like 6 missions between bosses that you're forced to do.
Yeah. So it sucks, but then you just get these moments of joy that are peppered throughout. And it's such a shame, man. I mean, I know when we were covering this game, it seemed to be in the news all the time, and I was just bitching and moaning about how Rocksteady were like, they never missed, and then here we are with this, which is just a major flaw. And it just goes to show what happens when a publisher like Warner Bros. Is just fucking shit. And they forced this to be something that it obviously wasn't. And I think, as Spence said earlier, you know, if this had just been a single-player experience or even a co-op experience that was on the same level as like a Batman, this game would have been fucking immense because the building blocks here are here and they're good, but it's just everything that's been massaged on top of it to make it something which it isn't, which is just diluted to the point of no return. It's such a fucking shame, man. It's such a shame. But they may come up, Rocksteady, in the news later on. So I think on that note, it's time for us to move it on to the quick news. Quick news.
Quickety quick news, and welcome listeners and viewers. And yes, I'm back to present quick news, and this is the part of the show where we handpick the latest and greatest when it comes to the PlayStation Nation to present to your ears and your face. Well, I suppose your ears are technically on your face or very close to your face, but it's going to be pushed in your general direction. And obviously I missed out on the impressions last episode, and you guys did death impressions, didn't you? Death noises, and it was very entertaining. So I'd like to run that back and be part of the crew. I don't like being left out, guys. So I hope you'll accept that we're going to run that back and do death impressions or death noises this time round. So the way we're going to do it, we're going to go from Davey, Spencer to myself, and we've only got 3 quick newses. So let's make these good. So Davey, do you want to give us your first death impression? And me and Spencer will try and guess.
Okay. Here we go.
You got electric.
Oh, I was going to say electric chair.
It was an electric chair. It was an electric chair. Well done.
Obviously, so do I get that?
You get nothing for actually guessing it right.
Oh.
It's still what's the worst one out of the 3, right?
Right.
But it's still fun. Yeah, it's just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun. But
you definitely did get electrocuted in the electric chair. It's not like the electric chair is. It's not the chair that kills you, is it? It's the electricity. Come on.
Yeah, I suppose. Apples to apples, I guess, right? Similar kind of thing. The electricity kills, but yeah, it was very much I put my arms down, clamped on the chair, ready to accept the death that was to come. Quick news. So, I got a little bit of news here, which is being delivered from the videogameschronicle.com, and this is all around the PlayStation 5 sales. Now, I generally don't like doing sales ones because they're a bit dry, and this is going to start dry, but hopefully we'll get quite interesting. Here we go. I'm going to read this verbatim. PlayStation 5 has enjoyed its best ever holiday period in 2024 and has now cleared 75 million units shipped, Sony announced on Thursday. In the company's financial results for the 3 months ending December 31st, 2024, Sony reported shipments of 9.5 million PlayStation 5 consoles, the best quarter ever of the PS5 era, and only 0.2 million behind PlayStation 4's peak in Q3 2017. Launch aligned, PlayStation 5 is now 1.5 million units behind PlayStation 4 during the same period of its life cycle, 76.5 million units for the PS4. Sony has shipped 15.7 million PlayStation 5 consoles during the first 3 quarters of its current year, with a target of 18 million by the end of March. The results include sales of PlayStation 5 Pro, which launched in November for the first time, but Sony did not provide separate sales figures for the console. So first off, before I go into a little bit more here, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like that's a proud success that PlayStation should be happy with selling 75 million, or do you feel like it should be more, given the same kind of timelines they are both under? Phil, I'm going to come to you first, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. And I read this one through, and I initially started reading this quite positive, and it was very much like, yes, you know, PlayStation's had their best quarter that they've ever had with PlayStation 5, sort of selling the 9.5 million PS5s in the last quarter, which is huge. And to reach 75 million shipments of the console, that's a hell of a lot of consoles, right? That's a hell of a lot of people sat in front of PS5. But when you compare it to the previous generation, and we've done lots of comparisons between PS5 and PS4 and the wealth of games that you had available during those runs. And I think we've always settled that sort of PS4 had a stronger run with sort of first-party games than sort of PS5 has had sort of recently. And, you know, I still agree with that because I was looking at my catalogue of games the other day and I was kind of comparing them between generations, and I still have to say, guys, I think PS3 in terms of games, and the quality and the wealth of games was the broadest and still one of my favorites, even though my favorite game of all time definitely came out during the PS4 generation, being Death Stranding, and there was some spectacular games on PS4. We haven't had the same level of game, I don't think, on the PS5. There's been some amazing standouts, but there's never been a Death Stranding, there's never been a Last of Us 2, etc., etc. But hopefully all that'll change very, very soon when it comes to PS5, because of course we don't know how GTA 6 is going to affect sales when it comes to the PS5. Is that going to skyrocket them, or are people going to be a little bit mixed with it? I think the former. I think people are very much going to go wild with GTA, but is it just the market that already has a PlayStation? So it will be interesting. Is that going to encourage new people to adopt the PS5? So I have to wait and see on that one. But as I said, I started very positively reading this, and it kind of got negative the more you compared it to PS4, because we should be getting better. And at the moment, it feels like it's slightly shrunk. Sort of the 1.5 million, if you make the direct comparison between 75 million and 76.5, I think it was, at this time, if you were going to do a direct comparison between PS5 and PS4.
Yeah, really well said. Spence, before I have my say on this, what are your thoughts, my friend?
I think it all makes sense, man. I'm looking at the numbers, right? And typically, you would expect the next generation console on the same amount of time to, I think, have sold better, just because the gaming nation for any side, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, grows year on year. It just always does, because more people are becoming of age to play video games, stuff like that. So you'd expect this to increase. However, during the PS4 era, shit like Fortnite happened. And now there are people that would be on the PS5, except they aren't, because they're on either a PS4 or a PC or an Xbox, just fucking playing Fortnite, because that's all they do, because they're kids. So rather than buying the next best console, which is what used to be the important thing, now they just focused on playing Fortnite, which is nuts. But that is just the way it's gone. I think these figures make a lot of sense. It seems kind of about right for PS5 to be there around this time. And I think it makes perfect sense not to split the figure between PS5 Pro and PS5, because they never did for PS4 and PS4 Pro. It's not a new console. It's an addition to an existing one. It makes sense for them to be the same. It's like the Switch and the Switch OLED being different. Have a laugh. It just looks a bit different. Plays the same fucking games.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I think having them fused together into the stats makes perfect sense. And as you said, they never reported it separately before, so why should we expect it differently this time? I think for me, right, is there's a little bit of minutia here than it just being a straight, like, you know, apples to apples comparison. I'm going back on that fruit basket, baby. And I think before I go into my thoughts, I'm going to relay a tweet that I saw that just made me think, how can somebody... I don't want to give my thoughts away, so... do you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to give away my thoughts straight away. How can someone get it so fucking wrong, right? So this is a tweet by Destin Legary. Now, Destin Legary worked at IGN for a long time and really senior out there, and he's an Xbox guy. You know, he plays the card that he's not, but he is an Xbox guy, right? And he says this: I don't understand how PlayStation fans can see that the PS5 is at 75 million and the PS4 was at 76.5 million in the same time frame and still jump in my reply saying that the console market is growing. PS5, 75 million. PS4, 76.5 million. That's minus 1.98% PS5 versus PS4. No one denies that 75 million consoles is great, and that's still not growth for console sales, though. And it's why PlayStation is looking to diversify where games are sold by expanding to PC, etc. Meanwhile, Gamer Network services now saw a 16% increase year on year. Digital game add-on content sales increased 13.6% year on year. That's massive, and it's why digital and services are a big focus for PS and Xbox. Two things can be true. PlayStation can be doing exceptionally well, and the console market can also be seeing no growth versus the PS4. That's not necessarily bad, it's just what's happening. They're still raking in the cash though, so I don't understand the defense. Right, Destin, you're fucking missing a huge thing that happened at the start of this console generation. Nobody could fucking get one.
Yeah.
Everyone could get a PS4. There was no shortage of PS4s. Nobody could get one. And I think this is clear in the year-on-year figures. So you got the PS4 tracking here from 2013 to 2022. First year, 4.5 million, same as the PlayStation 5. 4.5 million on its first year in 2020. Second year, PlayStation 4, 15.7 million. PS5, 12.8 million. Third year, 17.6 compared to 14.8. Then, in 2023, PlayStation 5 overtakes the sales, 22.7 compared to 19.5, and that's continued, with last year selling more than the PS4 sold in that previous year. I think it's just a case of those first couple of years, we got one straight away, right? And we were always saying that people just weren't trying hard enough. But it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. We knew how hard it was to get them, right? Like, it was hard. I think that's the main reason here. Like, personally, I think that is the main reason. I think there's 3 factors at play here for why the console hasn't overtaken it. The first, I feel, is availability at the start of the generation, which I think is a major contributing factor. Price is another one. Amount you have to put down to get in is higher than it was for PlayStation 4. And I think that is certainly a worry, especially when people have been going through, for the last few years, a real squeeze on their income. You know, with the price of energy shooting right up, price of food and inflation going through the wazoo, mortgages, you know, doubling for quite a lot of people. I think it's a little bit harder to be able to kind of have that spare money around. And PlayStation 4 didn't really have anything too crazy over its generation compared to the PS3, which had the massive financial crash of 2008. So I think that's also at play. And then thirdly, and I think this is a very important point, which kind of does go alongside Destin's point here, but I feel, and like you said, Spence, is that there's a lot of people that are still on PS4 and they haven't had a reason to come off yet. And I think a lot of that is just because there's, instead of going down the track of leaving the last generation behind, because the availability wasn't so good to start with and they couldn't get the units out, they changed tact and they made sure that games like God of War Ragnarok and all these could be played on PS4. And I think that if I was looking back, if I had just kept with my PlayStation 4, would I have really missed out on the best experiences for the PlayStation 5? No, I wouldn't, because I would have played Ragnarok. So there's an argument there, right? That would you really have missed out too much? Probably not. Granted, you wouldn't be able to take advantage of every other experience that is only available on PlayStation 5 or is significantly better on PlayStation 5, especially with the controller and everything else. But I think those 3 things are kind of big factors as to why this hasn't sold as much. But the main one for me just comes back to availability at the start of the gen. You know, a 1.5 million difference is nothing. And it's that early days where people could not get one. And scalpers were robbing everyone for thousands of pounds. And it was what it is. I wouldn't be surprised to have seen 2021 sales to be at least 3 or 4 million higher than that if the availability was there. Anyone got any kind of counterpoints or any thoughts to go alongside this?
I don't know, man. I've been looking at these charts and these numbers and stuff, and I kind of just completely agree with you. I thought initially as well about just how difficult it was to get a PS5, because it was a nightmare for most. Let's be honest. Anyone who really tried, it wasn't that hard, but it was a nightmare for most. The people who thought, oh, just click and collect. Oh yeah, sound. Yeah, guess what? You had to wait 10 minutes. Brill. I set an alarm for 11. I woke up at 12:30. I still got one. Immense. Easy. Put a bit of elbow grease in, you'd get one. But not everyone did. Sure. It's fine. Those numbers are going to fucking shoot, I think. They're going to shoot up. And whether it be through the sale of PS5 Pros, or normal PS5, or PS5 Slims, or digital PS5s, or whatever it's going to be now, even PS Portals, whatever they're going to do, a GTA 6, bro. That shit's flying up.
Phil said it earlier, and he's completely bang on. We're going to see it just hit the stratosphere at that point. I can't imagine there's going to be a child of like 11 or older who won't be begging for a PlayStation 5 to play GTA.
Mate, if Hogwarts Legacy can skyrocket sales, GTA 6.
Yeah. It's going to be fucking ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if I was PlayStation, I'd be trying to get that marketing deal so bad. I'll be putting every fucking spare bit of cash the company's got. Media Molecule, cancel your fucking game. We're putting the budget into getting this marketing deal. Like, anything you can do just to get that out there is just going to be nuts, man. It's going to be absolutely fucking gangbusters. So I think, Phil, you nailed it on the head there. It's going to overtake this year easy, I reckon. But have you got any thoughts on what I was saying, Phil?
Yeah, and same as Spence, right? I do agree with the points that you've picked out about this. But I think ultimately this article, and probably the reason it's getting so much traction and maybe why it stuck out to you when we were putting together the doc, or yourself was putting together the doc, is because it fuels that narrative, which I kind of touched on a little bit, of PlayStation 5 not having many games. And if you're telling me the guy who wrote this article is an Xbox guy, you can kind of piece together why he's put this article together, and he's kind of pushing, kind of slamming PlayStation a little bit with it, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. And it's the article wasn't written by Destin, but the tweet definitely was, right? Yeah, and I think, you know, we've done a comparison before, quite in depth one, of PS4 and PS5, and there wasn't much in it in terms of like that there was more games on PS4, but it's just the quality was better on PS5, right? And you could say the same thing if you go back a generation prior to that and you go PS3, way more output of first party games. Is the quality better than what we had on PS4? No. Not all told, but you just had a better, and as you said, a broader mix. And I think that's something that we will definitely have to, when we get to the end of this year, I think revisit that, look back and do a comparison over a couple of generations, maybe towards the end of the year when news starts kind of drying up, and we can really put the dedicated time in, because that's an easy hour conversation right there, isn't it?
Class. I thought about this. Well, I forgot to mention it in my rebuttal then. Phil, when you said about like games coming out like The Last of Us to Death Stranding, and how those are the standout games, and we don't really get those on the PS5, I think that's just a case of everyone's caught up. Back then, it was like quite not easy, but a big studio could make a game that would stand out, and you'd know it would stand out. Whereas now, every other studio that's even not tied to like a big person like Sony, Microsoft, we're getting freaking phenomenal games from everyone. It's just harder for games to stand out now, I think. It's just it's so saturated, the bloody whatever. I don't even know how to word it. You know what I mean?
You're right. It's one of those things of, and I was having this debate, I think it was with Joe recently. Maybe we were high or something, I can't remember. But we're having a conversation about when it comes to like the gaming market at the moment, there's so much competition that you can't just be like a good game anymore. You have to be good, do something unique or a little twist, and be top fucking AAA presentation or art style. You have to have like this mix, this confluence of all of them, and that makes it so much harder for people now. And you can see when we get to, you know, Game of the Year awards and stuff, Astrobot's clean sweeped because it's like presentation is impeccable. Its art style and its art direction is just immense, alongside the fact it's got great gameplay, right? Like, and the year before that, Baldur's Gate absolutely slapping the tits off everything because it just absolutely fucking nailed like its gameplay and its systems and stuff. And you just need to have so many little bits to be able to really get into the zeitgeist of people's minds now. Whereas on PS3, fuck, I love Resistance, right? But if Resistance launched now, like it was on PS3, it wouldn't even be fucking an indie game. It would be, you know, like proper bottom of the barrel. It was competing with like Dark Sector and shit like that, you know?
Haze.
Yeah,
Double A games aren't really a thing anymore, are they? Because everyone tries to reach the high heights of the AAA with PlayStation, and that's what we've come to expect. I think it's down to us, isn't it, having really high expectations of everything because we've had such quality for so many years.
Yeah. And I think going to your point where you're saying about like we haven't had those experiences like, you know, the Death Stranding and The Last of Us. For those specific games like Death Stranding and Last of Us, they were later into the gen. So, you know, it's a little bit hard to be able to compare those. I suppose the standouts for this generation so far, my two favorite games for this generation are, and I don't think they'll probably change, and this Intergalactic blows my fucking tits off, is God of War Ragnarok and Returnal, right? Like, those are my two favorite games. And I suppose comparing to where we were on PS4, or if we take it back to PS3, it would probably be like Uncharted 2, around about that kind of level. And then we still had Last of Us to come. Like, we got a lot of legs left in this gen, and it doesn't feel like as if I'm not craving for a PS6 anytime soon.
No.
So hopefully we get like another 2 or 3 years down the line before, PS6 is knocking and we feel like we need it. I will look forward to seeing, when we get to the end of this year, kind of how that tracks compared to where PS4 was at the same point, not just for sales, but for the quality of the games that have launched, and to see how much damage, like this whole live service push that we talked about quite a lot on the show the last few episodes, how much damage that has had in real terms comparing now to the PlayStation 4 generation. But that is a conversation for another day. And that's moving on to the next part of quick news, and that's coming across to yourself, Mr. Hoy. Give me your impression.
Okie doke. Well.
Oh, he's committed.
Oh God, he's
gone
gone
off the chair.
He's gone. Oh.
Oh, it's a tough one, man.
And scene.
Well, that's changed what I thought it was.
Yeah, I may.
Mm.
I thought you were originally like you'd been sucked out into space or something, and you like.
I did
not
think
what I
of the
thought.
space angle, but I thought we're on a podcast, so I've got to make some sort of noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's big
I think, not being able to breathe in space, well, you can't even hear someone scream in space, can you? To drop a movie reference in there. Shout out Joe Thomas. He loves it when I do that. So I thought I'd have to do something that made a little bit of noise.
I thought you had like someone come up with like the string around the neck or something.
That's where I was going with it. Yeah. The cheese wire kind of like.
But then you came back
Yeah.
after you fell down and then died again. And I was like, oh, it can't
But
be that
it's
big.
not suffocation with a cheese string, is it? Because it's the cut on your neck.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Good
Hell
point.
yeah.
That's what I went with. Anyway, quick news. And guys, I've got an announcement. So attention, Helldivers. We're teaming up with PlayStation and Arrowhead to bring you Helldivers 2 Collectibles, celebrating the heroic action of of Super Earth's finest. Enlist in our newsletter today and let us know what collectibles you want to see. And this comes directly from Dark Horse Direct, okay? So they specialize in the finest high-end statues, collectibles, and fine art prints. Now, guys, my question to you is has this been a name that you've sort of known in the past? Have you seen anything from Dark Horse, A? And B, are you excited to get Helldivers merch from these guys? What kind of merch would you be wanting to see from Helldivers? Do you want a Helldiver on your desk, or do you want one of the automatons stood next to you? What do you want? I'm going to go over to you first, Davey, because I think you're probably more connected to this one, purely because you buy some of this stuff, much like me. Spencer, you've got a relatively empty room with it. I know you have a couple of collectibles, but let's go to your man first. Davey, what do you think?
Yeah, so Dark Horse. I'd never heard of Dark Horse Direct, but I know Dark Horse well because they do publishing of comics.
Comics, yeah.
So and they got some fantastic comic runs. I mainly know them for going back a bit now, because all owned under Disney, so Marvel now. But before they used to do all the runs for like Alien and Predator comics. So they used to, so it'd be like Batman versus Predator be distributed by Dark Horse, or it would be just like the AVP comics, which were fucking incredible back in like the 90s and stuff, which then spurred, the movies and the video games and everything else. But going onto their website after I found this article and looking in, they got some fantastic stuff on here, and it is really reasonably priced. So it's not like collectibles that I like, which is typically the ones where it's a limited number of collectibles, and it's like 1 of 5,000 or something, which makes it a little bit rarer, and that puts the price way up on them to be able to get them. These are like mass-produced collectibles, but of a really fucking high caliber. I'm looking at the Last of Us collection now, and fuck me, there's a clicker, right, which is 12 inches high statue, and 144 quid it's up for at the moment. And fucking hell, it's great. It's the kind of thing where I'm thinking, shit, I just got paid. You know, like this, I shouldn't be looking at this. I really shouldn't. I am really fucking surprised at how I haven't heard of this before. And this is something that I might have to show my dad straight after this, because there's some big-ass franchises they've got here, all the way from like Stranger Things through to Hellboy, Fallout, Dune. There's fucking loads. Personally, in terms of what I want, the thing I've wanted more than anything for Helldivers is a cape. Like, I really want, like, a really high-quality, like, kind of leather or something like that cape that I can just have on the back of my door. I really fucking want one.
See what you
like,
mean.
Insert Coin do, and I love Insert Coin, I wear a lot of Insert Coin stuff. They do a flag that I'm thinking that are buying us for download. So it's a Super Earth flag.
Oh, amazing.
And yeah, it comes on like a big pole, massive, and we can just plant it. We can be repping Super Earth at download, right? And I said to Karen, I'm going to get it and I'm going to put it in my back garden. And she was like, no, you can't. And I was like, well, it's my house, so I think I can. And then she was like, just don't do it, man. We spent so much time making the house look lovely. Don't put a big fucking flag in your back garden. Don't be that guy. And I was like, fine, I'll save it for download.
No, mate,
then.
don't listen to that. That's like, you get a woman, she comes in and suddenly you have 12 pillows. Get that gone, bro. Get your flag, mate. Get your flag. That's your gaff. Get your flag.
Yeah, I might do, mate. I might see how much I like getting my dick touched. Because that you know, if that's going to stop because of the flag, then I don't like the flag that much. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. I can't argue that.
He's put that in context, hasn't he? Hasn't he?
Yeah,
He nailed it as well.
Yeah. So that's the way it kind of
I
works.
don't like flags either.
No, flags suck.
Hate flags, man. Yeah, shit flags. Get out in the bin.
So I would like, the things I would like are either a cool ass looking cape or a helmet. One of those two things. Those are the things that I definitely need. Apart from that, weapons are always cool, man. But I think it's a little bit then a harder stretch in terms of what weapons you pick, and I think it's a whole other debate, and I think it's quite hard to nail down. But helmet or a cape, I think, is just screams Helldivers, doesn't it?
Yeah, and whatever they pick and whatever they produce, it needs to be iconic, doesn't it? If it has to be some kind of memorabilia that you can wear or, you know, use, not really use, but, you know, have on you, it needs to be an iconic piece that people would go, oh, wow, that is from Helldivers. But from what I've seen of them, they specialize more in kind of the models. I haven't seen a lot of the actual physical kind of capes or, you know, helmets or things. But maybe they do that because you've got a bit more of a deeper dive into these people than me, because I'd never heard of them before this article. Now, Spence, I want to throw it over to yourself. You're not as into collectibles as myself and Davey, but them doing a Helldivers merch line, is there anything there for yourself? Because I know Helldivers is something that you only enjoy really because of me and Davey, but would you like a sick cape or a sick helmet from Helldivers? Could that interest you if that was to come out?
Well, first of all, I'll say I know Dark Horse.
Okay. Good.
I know Dark Horse, but for the same reason as Davey, I've read their Colder series, which if you haven't read, is fucking sick. It's like disgusting. It's like the art on the front is just like some grotesque dude, and he's sticking his hand in his mouth and out his eye.
Oh,
It's sick, man.
Cool.
I got it for free on like a digital comic at one point, and I read it and I was like, fuck me, this is sick. And I read all of it. It was class, like years ago.
Nice.
So that's how I know Dark Horse. But I've had a nose on that website, and you're very much right. It is just kind of figures and stuff. And I've had a nose as well, mate. That clicker statue's pang.
great, dude. They got an amazing art book as well. Have you seen that? The Art of the Last of Us Part 2. Deluxe.
I've already got the Last of Us Part 2 art book, I think. But they also have one thing that I've wanted for a long time, which is the Atreides signet ring from Dune.
Oh,
I don't own or wear rings, but I want that ring. I'd love it. Again, House Atreides, bro.
Birthday coming up,
You
mate.
said I got you. Bro, it's 120 quid, you're not. No.
Nope. And I've already got your birthday present.
Not a chance for Etsy that shit, bro. Etsy. But I've had a look. I completely agree with you. Figures and shit for Helldivers, nah, wouldn't be me. Cape also probably wouldn't be me. just because I wouldn't have anywhere to put it. A helmet, though. Ugh. I've literally had my eye on a Green Goblin helmet on Marketplace for like 3 days, and I keep staring at it, but it's 300 quid. So I have not pulled the trigger, but I'd love a nice helmet.
As someone who has bought a helmet recently, I've worn it once.
Yeah.
And that's my Magneto helmet. Okay, so just to warn you, it doesn't get a lot of use, but it looks fucking sick up on your shelf. All right?
That's all you need it for,
all you
isn't it?
need,
Like,
mate.
I got a fucking Cyborg Ninja helmet up there. I've worn it on the show once, and that's the only Oh, and I wore it around the house, and I went on to a Teams meeting in work with it on.
Of course you did.
And that is it. It's just been on top of my bookcase. But it's just sick. It's just a cool thing. I look at it and think, I fucking love that. So, it's not about, my dad's got so many he's got a Captain America shield that he's had on the wall since I was a lad. And
I saw him last week carrying that around Caldecott.
I wish he was. And it's that thing, isn't it? It's just cool to have these things, right? Rather than, do you get any tangible use out of it? Don't let that put you off, Spence. You get that helmet. You get that Green Goblin helmet.
That Green Goblin helmet, right, it's on Marketplace, right? So it's a 3D scan of the original helmet from 2002 Spider-Man 1. It's a 1-to-1 replica that someone has 3D printed, painted, and it's got like proper mesh mouth, the lenses, and a magnetic back on the back to take off so you can put your head in it.
That's cool.
It's sick, and it's 300 quid, and it's in Newport. It's one of a kind. Someone's 3D printed it. It's one of a kind, and it's here where I live. I could get it. It's like 2 minutes up the road.
We got to do a night out where you're Green Goblin,
you're Magneto,
and Cyborg Ninja. The stories that will come out of that night out will be legendary. It's like a start of a joke, isn't it? What happens when Green Goblin, Magneto, and Cyborg Ninja walk into a bar?
All you hear is, hurt me more. That's what I'm doing shots, bro. Oh, there
That'd
you
be
go.
immense. But yeah, I'm looking at this Dark Horse thing. It's cool, man. This website's actually sick. They've got a lot of cool stuff. I'd never buy like a Dune figure or anything. As much as I love Dune, I'm not going to buy Paul Atreides action figure doing the bloody may thy blade chip and shatter or anything like that. I'm good. But the Last of Us stuff, that's quite nice. Bit spenny though. Bit spenny. But yeah, this is sick. Dark Horse Direct. I'm keen to see what they do with this partnership.
Yeah.
It has to be a helmet or a gun, same as Davey said. If it's a figure, I'm not buying it. I just won't. Well, I'm not going to buy a helmet or a fucking gun either, actually. I'm not going to,
Walking it back.
I'm excited to see what this is. I'm excited to see what Davey buys from this.
Yeah,
So I'm excited.
I'll definitely be getting a helmet if it's up there. The thing I kick myself, talking about helmets, the thing I kick myself for, what seems to be on a daily basis now, is not getting the Doom Eternal Collector's Edition that came with a fucking full Doom Guy helmet.
Yeah.
Regret that so fucking much.
It was in CES the other day when I walked past for my haircut in the last couple of weeks.
How much do they want for it?
A couple of £100, I think.
A couple hundred.
Yeah.
It's a bit much, isn't it? But I know, like,
the problem.
If it was a cool ass collectible, like that is like mega rare. I mean, I don't know how many of those collector's editions there is. I might have to look into this. I might need to send you out on a scouting mission. For me.
Reconnaissance.
Yeah, might need to, my friend.
Nice.
Shouldn't have told me about that, Phil. That's another one for the bank balance. Well, should we move it on to the last bit of quick news then?
I think we should before we spend any more money. So, Spencer, let's hear your death impression.
Sure, mate.
Sawing something, eating.
Oh, choking.
Oh yeah, he's choking on the food.
Now, I thought it could have started. Oh.
I started actually choking, so I had to stop.
Bit
That's
too
how
realistic.
committed. That's how committed he was, bro.
My eyes are watering. Look. Jesus Christ! Quick news. I'm crying.
I did think you were almost going down the cannibalism route then when you started cutting, and I thought, ooh, he could be eating someone, but no, you started choking. Good
Just
impression.
a stringy bit of steak, mate. Big old
Right.
stringy bit of steak.
It got you.
Quick news. So, lads, listeners, here we are once again. Guess what I'm about to tell you about? the PlayStation Plus games for extra and premium game catalog, and they are as follows. So we have a massive one for me, as you'll know, listeners and lads. Star Wars Jedi Survivor for the PS4, PS5. Top Spin 2K25 PS4, PS5. Lost Records Bloom and Rage Tape 1 for the PS5. Saga Frontier Remastered PS4. Somerville PS4, PS5. Tin Hearts PS4, PS5. Mordhau PS4, PS5. And then for PS Premium, we have Patapon Free PS4, PS5. Dropship United Peace Force PS4, PS5. And that is it. So a very short premium list this month, but a decent extra list, I believe. But I think all these news bits, we've gone to Davey first. So Phil, I'm going to come across to you. How do you feel about this month? Are you excited for it? And are there any games that stand out for you?
I wouldn't say stand out massively. The one that, if I was going to play any of these games, would be the Patapon 3. That looks immense. But again, it's on the premium service, which I don't actually subscribe to. And that's a game I don't actually own because I was bought the original Patapon on PSP, I believe by my brother, I think, for my birthday. And I need to get into that series because it is legendary. So seeing Patapon 3 up on the service, it's a welcome sight. So that would be the one that I would want to play, but unfortunately can't because I'm a cheapskate.
Damn shame, mate. Damn shame. Patapon. It's a good shout, mate. Good shout. Everyone likes Patapon. Davey, how about you?
For me, I think the choice here is just such a fucking easy one for me, and that's Lost Records Bloom and Rage. So I have been super excited to see Don't Nod go back to the genre and just fucking hopefully nail it. I'm not confident enough to put it in my fantasy critic.
I'd counterpick that straight away. Frame 1.
I'm not confident after what happened to me with the last Life is Strange. I'm kind of a bit worried side about it, to say the least. But for me, this is just an absolute fucking dream come true because I would have bought it. I would have bought this on release. I would have pre-ordered it. And then as soon as we got that news in the state of play, I was like, fucking, thank God I hadn't pre-ordered, right? And the great thing about this, listener, is that we get the first episode, obviously with Lost Records Bloom and Rage releasing in 2 parts. First one arriving February 18th. Fantastic, so you can just play it on its release. The second episode is also arriving as part of PlayStation Plus games catalog, but for April's lineup. So on April 15th, and that is just fucking superb. So we got the full game.
See, this is the thing, right? This might be the first time we actually get to go off on the PS monthly games. Is that superb? Does that instill you with hope for these games?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one because, things that have gone direct into the service before have been incredible. Stray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking...
That's it, really.
Lies of P was on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, but everything is.
No, but it's not published by them. So it was just put into the service, but it didn't take away from it being a fantastic experience. I'm not overly worried just because I like Don't Nod. So I think even, if they got offered the bag, and Don't Nod, if you remember, they had some big issues not long ago. We reported on the show that they laid off a load of their staff. So I think that the offer was probably there from PlayStation, and they said, look, we just need to secure the cash. We can't just take the risk. We need to secure up our business and make sure that we can get some return on this. And hopefully they just got enough that they're not going to regret it. And that's always the choice, isn't it? Because if it fucking bangs, then they may have, fucked themselves over here. If I was them, I would be a right dickhead about this, because I would have it go up in the Februaries, I would have it come down in the Marches and be off, so that then people who've missed it, word of mouth can spread and they think, fucking hell, second episode comes out, but I need to play the first one. Oh, I got to buy it to be able to get the second episode for free. That's what I would do, but I'm an absolute cunt, right? That's the way that I would. That's the way that I would do it. But obviously, they're not going to be doing that. It'd probably be in there for a year or something. I don't know. I'm not worried about this being free in the service. It doesn't concern me about its level of quality.
It's fair enough, mate. Fair. Is that the only one that stands out?
For me, it's the main one. I think, Jedi Survivor I already own. I haven't started it yet, which is a fucking crime. But the one I'm actually looking forward to, and I'm hoping that we can all play together, is Mordhau. I'm probably butchering the saying of this. But so what it says here, Mordhau is a multiplayer medieval slasher in which your mercenary will fight in brutal battles with fast-paced combat, castle sieges, cavalry charges, and more. Fight waves of enemies from small-scale engagements to 64-player all-out war. Fight alongside your friends. I think we could have a bit of fun on it. It'd be like Chivalry.
I was going to say we played a game very similar.
Yeah, me and Phil already had a good night on that, I think.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it, actually?
Yeah,
but it was only the single night. We never went back. But we did it, and it was fun for the time we were there. But this one, having 64 players all-out war, I'm unsure what they were in Chivalry. It was probably quite a lot of people that we were battling and running around with. I think that is the standout factor in this game. But I don't know, aren't all these games quite large in that sense?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, looking at the review scores for Mordhau on PC, it's sitting at 81 on Metacritic.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think it's definitely one that we should give a look at the very least.
Nah. I think it'll be good. I think it's a PC kind of game. Mordhau. It's like same as Chivalry 1 excelled on PC, and then when they brought it over, it flopped. It's just one of those games. Some games aren't really made for console. But I'll be keen to try it with you boys. I mean, me and Phil had a great time on Chivalry 2. I think it'll go well. But yeah, not a bad pick, mate. I'm keen for it. For me, I'm big on my 2K games at the minute. Top Spin. Sheesh. I am not playing that. I'm going to be playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Hell yeah. I've been wanting to borrow Jedi Survivor off Davey for months. And every time I've gone round, or I've seen him, I forgot. And I've not got the game. So I've not played it. And now you're telling me I'm just going to be able to download it for free? Fucking hell. Slap my ass, call me Sally. I'm fucking in, mate. What a great day. Jedi Survivor, class, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. I'm a massive Don't Nod fan. I'll be straight on that. That's it, really. I don't care about anything else. Brilliant. 2 great games, and that's all you need for a good month. For me, that is class, and I'll finally get the fucking play Jedi Survivor. I am buzzing with this month. I think it's exceptional.
Yeah, I agree. I think, honestly, this is a return to form. Well, actually, what am I talking about? I'm talking absolute fucking nonsense. It was the Essentials that was a proper drop-off for this month, for February. The extra catalogue just continues to fucking hit it, bro.
Slaps,
I haven't had a bad month. We haven't had a bad month in ages on the extra catalogue. Sony really just fucking upped the game. Whoever's running this side of the PlayStation ecosystem, cooking.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking cooking.
Deserves that, like,
Yeah, oh yeah, deserves that. Spitting on that thing.
I'll do it as well. I'll do it. PlayStation, call me in. I'll do it. But those are the games for PS Plus. Fantastic. I think that's fucking the end of quick news now.
That was quick.
It is. So it brings us on then to what we always do on this show, where we get to award somebody with the best impression, which will mean absolutely nothing, and then punish whoever did the worst. And they will have a shot to go into the dock for the next big quiz, which will be on episode 111, something like that.
12, 13, whatever.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Somewhere.
Used to be on the 10s, but yeah, just whenever we could all get together. So, start with yourself, Spence. Who had the best impression of the night?
Ooh. Phil. Phil died, bro. He slammed that ground. And you saw the chair even like move away a bit with how hard he hit the ground. You heard the thud. And then it didn't even end. He came back. Came back for a bit more. Yeah, class. And I correctly guessed it with the little string thing. Because that's what I thought it was. And I could tell, mate. I could tell because it was such a good impression.
Oh, look at this. What a shining review to put on, Phil.
I'm glad I'm back.
What about yourself? Are you going to relay the thoughts back to Spence?
Of course. And Spencer almost died during his impression, so it was that damn real. So yeah, I'm going to go with Spencer choking. As much as I thought it could have been cannibalism to start off with cutting up someone and eating someone. No, he very much choked on that person. So the thing that killed him, it wasn't the cannibalism, was it? It was actually the choking. So it felt really realistic because, yeah, Spencer nearly choked.
Choked?
Yeah.
He choked.
Yeah, and I gotta echo those thoughts, man. I think your choking was like so good. I was thinking, fucking hell, he's absolutely committed to this role, and you were so committed you could have died.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of level of talent I want to see going forward on these impressions.
Oh,
mate.
wait, less than that. I'm like 4 points in, bro. I'm 4 points in. I entered the Spencer advert mind state.
Oh,
Carbon monoxide flow.
oh yeah, of course. For those who haven't seen that advert, I don't even know what you search online. Spence was in an advert for carbon monoxide, and it's fucking hilarious.
Search carbon monoxide game over, and it'll come up.
Oh, it's so fucking funny.
We should put the advert in the show, shouldn't we? Can we do
We
that?
never have.
I don't think we have. I put it in like every single review that I can get away with. I put in like on my personal YouTube whenever I'm saying about something that's shit or whatever. I always then put Spence's death on there for like how I felt, because it's like it's just incredible. Like your life audience will be before you saw the advert and after. There's no going back. After you see that, it changes you. It changes the person.
Oscar, mate.
It was fucking incredible. And so I can assume then, from the fact that we've all guessed whose is the best, that I did the worst impression of tonight, I assume.
You've assumed correct. I would have to go with yourself.
No, really
Davey.
the quickest news this is.
Yeah, I thought I fucking nailed the electric chair. I'm really surprised. It was like a good commitment as well to it as well.
It was good. It was good. It was just less theatrical than ours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys just raised it up, didn't you? You took the bar was set, and you thought, I'm jumping over that.
There wasn't much more than the initial zzz, and you just carried on with that. At least with mine and Spencer's, I felt like we changed things, we adapted things, we moved with the flow, we sensed the room, we upped our game, as you said. So yeah, unfortunately, Davey, thumbs down from me.
It's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? Well, with that, I'll add a shot for myself in the dark. And do you know what? I've not done well on these impressions. I'm actually doing quite bad. So that's going to be fun going into the big quiz. Let's bring it on to the rumour.
Kick it! You wake up with a rumour and you don't want to go. You ask if it's confirmed and they still say no.
We are finally back. I say finally back. We've actually had a rumour quite recently, but we're back yet again with that phenomenal track from Philip Hoy, Rumour Has It, and we have 3 rumours today. Now, I think we're going to do the first one on its own, little standalone rumour jobby, and then move in to a double biller. But I usually take Rumour Has It, and I was especially enthused to take this Rumour Has It because I do not give a shit about these rumours. So I would love to hear why you guys do. Let's take it away. The first rumour is Rocksteady, as we all know, make great games, may be working on a PlayStation exclusive Batman Beyond game. Hoof. Now, Davey, this is coming straight over to you because you suck the Arkham Batman's cock. You'd love him. So what do you think of this bit of news, mate? Or this rumour?
I think the rumour's quite interesting in that they're going back to what they did before, right? In terms of Batman. And I think that's the smartest choice ever for them, is to come back and just reaffirm why they were so fucking loved as a studio, to go back to the well. The only thing is, I don't like Batman Beyond. I never have. It's much the same way that I don't like, Spider-Man 2049 or whatever he is, right? The future one. I just don't give a fuck about seeing these like future iterations being trained by the current hero. I don't care. And people love Batman Beyond. Like, people fucking love him so much. I've always just thought he just tries too hard. It's just 90s in the wrong way. And I just don't like it. I just really don't. Will I be interested in going back to this, though? And going back to Batman, even if it is Batman Beyond? Yes. The only difference will be is that, whereas Batman, I've read a lot of comics, I've read a lot of graphic novels, I know DC quite well. And so when it's like an Arkham game, I really pick up on the references and who they're baddies are and all that stuff. I don't know anything about Batman Beyond other than that it's just this little fucking kid being trained by Bruce Wayne, and fucking Joker's still somehow knocking about. So I won't get the kind of same level of like meta commentary and meta kind of stuff to it, but I'll be happy to see whatever Rocksteady are doing next, because I love the studio, even though Suicide Squad sucks ass. So yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on it. Happy, but not the Batman I want.
That's fair, mate. Phil, I don't really know your affinity with Batman. I don't know how much of a Batman fan you are, and I don't believe you've played the Arkham games, but I might be wrong. Mate, what do you think of this, and what is your history with the Arkhams?
Sure. So this one was quite interesting to me, really, because I'm taking it from the perspective as a fan of gaming, obviously. You know, we're on this pedestal that we talk about PlayStation every couple of weeks. And I'm interested to see now the reaction of the studio, okay? And that's the angle I'm taking it on. So you've had all the Batman Arkham games from sort of 2009 to 2015, where they were getting massive Metacritic scores, ranging from sort of 87% all the way up to sort of 94%, okay? So these were big games back in the day. But they've come out and they've tried something new, not 100% their choice in any way. Of course, they've gone down the live service route. They were very much forced down that route, and they've come out with a bit of a stinker, right? You guys were talking about the game. It's a great IP, and we all agree on that. But ultimately, the game and the substance there is lacking, okay? So it's 60% on Metacritic, and it came out in, early 2024, as we established earlier. So they've had a miss, Rocksteady, okay? And that's not nice to see after a studio has done so well for so long, okay? So it's quite obvious to me that they need to go back to something that people love. And as much as Davey doesn't love Batman Beyond, I know it is a very well-loved IP indeed, okay? And reading the article that was put in the doc, they are saying that they're going to be doing a trilogy of these games, which makes complete sense. Most games, you start off saying you're going to do a trilogy based on the first sale of the first game, then you quickly understand if there's going to be a trilogy to these games. But they want to do something big, and they want to have longevity with these games, okay? Also, reading the article, it also said that they were not far away from creating this, which is slightly disturbing, seeing as they've only just come out with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. So I really want them to put this away and cook for a little bit longer before I start to see any of the Batman Beyond trilogy coming out, because I want it to be at that 87 up to 94% on Metacritic. I want it to be even stronger, because Rocksteady are a great studio and they create great games. And Spence, yeah, I have played a few of the Arkham games. Davey bought me the collection on PS4. But it's also interesting to read on there that PlayStation seem to be rumored to be getting on board with this straight away because they want exclusivity to it. And I think it is a bit of a no-brainer, but at the same time, it is a little bit of a risk, because they've put out a bit of a bogey in Kill the Justice League, but they have the pedigree of someone who creates a great game. So PlayStation are very much rolling the dice and wanting the exclusivity for this video game on PlayStation and PC. So very interesting in that regard. Do I think it's real? Yes, I think it's real. I think it's the obvious choice for them to make. So I'm going with a yes on this one, and I'd like to see it.
Oof. And you think it's real? Okay, fair. For me, I'm very much with Davey in that I don't give a rat's fucking arse about Batman Beyond. Same as Spider-Man 2099, never given a shit. I can't stand the future iterations.
I thought that they might be more appealing to for your age, like, because it would have came out. No, what I mean by that is, like,
that's a lovely way to put it.
The Batman Beyond cartoon.
Yeah, like you think about like the original, like, kind of, not the original kind of Batman stuff, from Adam West and all that, but like the Batman animated series was when I was growing up, right, and it was fucking incredible, and then when that kind of ended, I was getting to like Dragon Ball and stuff like that, and that's when like Batman Beyond came out, which would have been the same time that you were like, walking around in nappies or whatever. So I thought it might have captured you. Same with like 2099, where it was just like that moment where it gets you when you're really little. Like, obviously, I like original Power Rangers. You were probably like Dino fucking league or whatever
Dino
they call
Thunder,
it.
baby.
Whatever the fuck it is, right? Like all that
Dino
bollocks
Rangers,
that
roar.
came after. Yeah, exactly. So it gets you like at that.
Yeah, but
kind
I
of
also
age.
love original Power Rangers, innit? It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
just.
fair.
I prefer original Power Rangers to Dino Thunder.
Oh,
But
dude.
Ninja Storm, hey yo, a Wild Force, yo, Time Force. But mate, Batman Beyond, never fucking seen a second of it. Couldn't care. I've not seen a second of any animated Batman show ever.
What?
Really?
I don't think
You've never seen the
no.
original? The original
I
is
was
incredible.
straight on to Teen Titans. I love Teen Titans. I
Teen
still
Titans
love
is
Teen
good.
Titans today.
Yeah, Teen Titans is great. Dude, you got to fix that. That's something to watch. We were talking last night when we were playing Justice League about like the different animated movies that you need to watch for DC. Scrap everything I was saying. Watch the original kind of Batman run, and then watch Mask of the Phantasm. Oh, incredible, dude! You will not regret that choice. I promise you. I promise you won't.
Maybe, mate, maybe. It'll be add on list. A lot to watch, a lot to play, a lot of stuff to do. First of all, this Batman Beyond thing, mate. All I'm going to say, Batman Beyond, don't give a shit. The character's dead. I can't be asked. Dead. Rocksteady, on an exclusive PlayStation title, Suicide Squad, all the marketing push was PlayStation. PlayStation marketed this shit. It was all them, and it flopped hard. And they had to keep marketing a game that kept changing, which must have been a freaking nightmare to deal with, especially with communication with Rocksteady. It must have been a nightmare. And then suddenly after that flops, they're like, but it's, you know, are you doing it again? Doing it again? Yes, please. Ridiculous. No fucking way. And a Batman Beyond one, I wouldn't want it at all. I think this is real. So agreeing with Phil, but I don't think it'll come to fruition. I think this is like an idea that if they have, like you said, Phil, man, if it's close to being a reality, then it's going to be a fucking 40 Metascore or something, some dog shit. Suicide Squad was so recent. There's no way a Batman Beyond game exclusive to PlayStation would be ready and polished to come out anytime soon. We shouldn't see it until 27 at the earliest. Ridiculous. There's no way. I think this rumor's a load of freaking bollocks, personally.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I think this rumor is something that they probably discussed when they were talking about like Suicide Squad time. They were probably saying like, shall we go back to the Batman? And how do we pick it back up with the ending of Arkham Knight? And they're like, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We could do Batman Beyond. And then some people were probably like, oh yeah, we could do that. And then, Warner Brothers come back down and be like, Suicide Squad. Because we got 2 movies from them now. So let's get a fucking game on them.
They
They're
did
like,
great.
Oh, okay,
Those
yeah.
movies.
All right. I reckon this was something that was probably in the works at some point as like an idea and never got any further than that. I don't think there's any credence to this whatsoever. I think we're much more likely to see a return of Arkham Batman. Like, especially now, like, the Arkham Batman IP is doing really well with the VR game that came out last year. That had rave reviews. People were absolutely loving it over on the Meta. I can see Batman Arkham coming back and being just a continuation of that story, right? And just seeing kind of what happens after that, or kind of like a soft reboot kind of thing. And doing like an earlier version, like they did with the spin-off game. God, I can't remember it now. The one that had that awesome animated fight between Deathstroke and Batman.
Black Summon.
Can't remember what it's called now. Doesn't matter. The one that wasn't made by them, that wasn't made by Rocksteady, that was still fucking kick-ass. Still really, really good. I don't think there's any credence to this whatsoever. But I agree with what you guys are saying, is that we're not going to see anything from them for years. So if this is in the works, which I don't believe it is, we're not seeing it till, as you said, about 27, 28 minimum.
Yeah.
So, time will tell.
And honestly, listeners, who fucking cares? It's Batman Beyond. Come on. Just replay I haven't finished the Arkham games. What do you think? Want to play a Batman Beyond game? Just go play Arkham. What are you doing? They're phenomenal.
Yeah, you wait now. This would be the thing that, like, Twitter just breaks for us, because it's just people will be like, you fucking idiots, Batman Beyond's amazing, you should really watch it, he's sick, the lead guy that I don't even know his fucking name. He's fucking great.
Talk to a woman, mate. Freaking come on. Get out of the house for a change.
They bought themselves a flag, mate. That's the only problem.
Yeah, they won't touch it with the flag.
Yeah.
Outrageous. So we've got 2 saying this is fake news, and a strong, this is happening.
It's happening, but when is it happening? I didn't say that. I think this is a truth. I think there is substance to this rumor. There is smoke with this fire. We are going to see at least the first iteration of a Batman Beyond game from Rocksteady.
Oh yeah. To be fair, mine's a bit more like this is real, but I don't think it's going to come to fruition. I think this is, like Davey said, this is an idea they had back in the day.
Yep.
But I don't think it'll ever release. But there we are. We're all kind of mixed bag on that little rumor there. But that's all right, because we've got 2 fucking more to discuss, boys. Brilliant. And they're linked together by Davey's best friend, Mr. Jeff Grubb. So the first one is as follows. Fair Games has been supposedly internally pushed to 2026 by PlayStation, says Davey's best friend, Jeff Grubb. How do you feel about that, Davey, mate? What do you think of Jeff? What do you think? Do you think he's got some credence?
Well, we got, as listeners to the podcast know, we've got I keep an ongoing list of Jeff Grubb rumors. And up until recently, it was a absolute knockout for Jeff Grubb. In terms of, on the 11th of January 2024, he predicted there was going to be a state of play coming in the next few weeks. Nailed it. 22nd of April, predicted another state of play for May. Absolutely nailed it. He then, 16th of May, said about the next game that was in the works from oh my god oh fuck, I can't remember what they're fucking called. That's got it. He then on the 16th of May came out with a rumor saying that Sly Cooper was in development from Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah.
And I said, okay, right, well, we'll give him until the announcement of Ghost 2. Ghost 2 came, and that got a big old fucking red mark on my rumor list. So that is the one that he's dropped. And the next one he's got right was all the way back in episode 98, when he said the state of play was rumored for September, and he nailed it. So he's 3 out of 4. So he hits him for the state of plays.
Also, though,
miss on the Sly Cooper.
Wasn't one of the state of plays, he just said there's one happening soon, and then it was like a month and a half later.
Yeah, it was coming next few weeks, unsure of date.
Yeah. I'd give that like
Industry insider.
Should we give that a yellow? Should we give that a yellow?
I wouldn't give that a fucking green.
All right, we'll give that a yellow. So
that's like when we do our crazy and we don't put a date. Or
yeah,
something,
all
or
right.
we put a date and it doesn't land. You kind of get it, but not all the way.
It's like saying Ape Escape is going to appear in a state of play, even
Exactly
though you kind
that.
of think it will do.
I'm on
And for
your side
whatever
for that,
reason,
mate.
everyone else forgot that was possibly going to be shown.
Yeah, in the trailer that was already out a few days
A few
before.
days ago.
Yeah. All right, I'll give that. All right, so he's got 2 greens, a red, and an amber. So I don't
Yeah.
know what the fuck you give that, but all it means is he's pretty goddamn bang on when it comes to some things, and other things a little bit fruity with, to say the least. In terms,
Fruity.
yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of this one, right? In terms of this Fair Games push, I believe it. I fundamentally believe it. Push to 2026. I would have thought if it was coming this year, we would have just seen it on that state of play, and we didn't, because even though we didn't have, like Ghost of Utah and Death Stranding and these other things that we know are coming out this year, why wouldn't you have it in this state of play to kick the year off, so then you can then show it loads of other times to try and get people back on side, right? Like, it would have made sense to have this kind of like long kind of build up for it now, especially as everyone's wondering what the fuck's happening with the live service games. If you were confident about it, you could have just quashed those straight away. Said, here it is, here's 5 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay or whatever. Beta coming out, XYZ. Done, right? Sorted. And it would have just quashed some of those fears. We haven't seen it. I believe this, but then on the same line, I wouldn't be too surprised if when we get to a next state of play or showcase, it just gets shown there, right? And it's still out for this year. But I believe that, yeah, they probably put it back into cook a little bit more after everything that happened with Concord.
That's fair. I kind of save it for a minute. Phil, mate, what about you?
Sure, Spence. I'm glad you asked. Well, if Jeff Grubb says something, then it must be true. Okay. And it just doesn't surprise me that this style of game is being delayed. Okay. Because we haven't really heard anything from Fair Games since the reveal back in 2023. Haven Studios has been very tight-lipped over Fair Games, right? We don't really even know much more than it's a live service game. Outside that, it's a bit shaky on the grounds of what we know about Fair Games, right? And when I'm seeing other titles that are, slated for, 2026 with games like Wolverine, everyone's saying that one's going to be pushed back. The newly announced Saros from Housemarque, that is definitely going to be a 2026 game. I'd imagine Marathon, from Bungie, that's going to be pushed as well to 2026. And I think Fair Games is probably that game as well that's going to be down the line further on. So I'm greenlighting this one. I think Jeff has got it bang on. I couldn't see that coming out in 2025 at all.
Tell you what, mate. I completely agree with you, except I think Jeff's right. I think this has been pushed. I don't think it's been pushed to 2026. I think it's just been pushed. I don't think they have an idea of when they're releasing these games because I think they're shitting themselves over what to do with these live service games. I think they're just kind of pushing them to wait till they get a hit and just letting them keep developing these games to see if any of them land. And if not, I think they're just going to axe them, same as they have with the last two that just got axed. I don't think it's going to be any of these live service games are going to get a date until they know it's polished and it's going to be good, especially after Concord. I think they're shitting their pants. But I would believe this rumor. Arguably. It's obviously been pushed. All of them's going to get pushed. Everything is. It's just the way it's going at the minute. So it's not even much of a fucking rumor. But 2026, I wouldn't say. I'd say it's just pushed indefinitely. That's what I would say. So it's kind of, I'll give him another amber, I would. That's what I'd be giving him right now.
I think it's a safe bet, isn't it, to say that there was going to be casualties as a result of Concord's failure, right? And we were all saying this before, that it's like back to the drawing board with a lot of these. I think the difference is with this one, Haven, there's a lot of anticipation within the studio because of the people that are working over there and like the game directors and studio heads. So I don't know. I've been always hyped about this one. I've always been quite excited about it, like with the heist kind of dynamics for it, and I've wanted to see more. I don't think it would be an indefinite. I think they're gonna come out with something, and when they are, it's gonna be impressive. But the thing is now, it has to be impressive, isn't it? And that's why I believe that the push is here, because they just have to, as you said, they need to come out swinging on that reveal. They really do. Pressure's on.
So fair enough. All three of us, yeah, of course. What a fucking shock. Listeners, mate, if you disagree, you're fucking wrong. 2026 or later. There it is. But that's not all we have to hear from Grubby Boy himself. Jeff Grubb has also come out the woodworks singing about Sony.
Come out the woodworks, Grubby Boy.
Where's he getting these from? Brilliant.
Insulting all the audience every 2 seconds. If you don't agree with us, you're fucking wrong.
I'm trying to make it as fun as I can, man. Yeah, Grubby Boy has come out. He said Sony is debating, he's in the room apparently, debating whether to hold a full PS showcase this summer or just a state of play. But they're leading towards a showcase. All right, Jeff. Who the fuck are you talking to, mate? Where's this come from? I've come across to... should I take this? Phil, do you want to go on me?
Give me your thoughts, mate. I want to hear...
You want to hear just what bullshit's going to come out of my mouth?
Yeah, go on.
Let's do this.
All right. Where the fuck's he got this information from? Grubb. Who are you talking to be like, they're debating whether to do it? What do you mean? That's not a freaking rumor. A rumor is, they might hold a full PS showcase. Sure. It's like, they're thinking about it, but they might actually do this instead. That's not a fucking rumor. What are you on about, mate? That's ridiculous. This it's pissed me off, if anything, actually. Mate, I might be a Grubb enemy now. I might be with you, mate. I might have my own doc of not even stuff that's wrong or right, just stuff that pisses me off. Because this is an absurd fucking rumor. They might do a freaking showcase. They might not. Yeah. Cheers, fucking Grubb. What how are you supposed to say true or false to this? What do you mean? It's ridiculous. Oh, it's pissed me off. Grubb, mate, I don't want to hear from you for a while. Phil, mate, over to you.
Well, yeah, there's not really a lot to say in regard to the statement because of the ambiguity that he involves in his predictions, if you can call them that. Oh, there might be a showcase. I'm leaning towards that, but there might be a state of play. But I want to turn this round on you guys, and I'll give my answer as well. What do you want from PlayStation? Do we want a state of play or do we want a showcase? You know, my personal opinion after what we're going to talk about within the topic, and I'll leave that one out because we're going to review the recent state of play. And this was a comment I made during the stream that we did, and we did like a reaction afterwards, didn't we? And I kind of said that we missed out on all the big hitters. You know, the current state of play was a very big showcase. There was lots of games there, but there was none of the big names that we wanted to see. Now, if Sony know that these are going to be released in 2025, then it's going to be a showcase. I think if Sony are holding back somewhat and delaying things, then I think we're going to see more of a state of play level of stream from Sony. I think that signifies what level of game you're going to get out of it these days. I think if it's a showcase, you're going to get the best of the best and you're going to expect a big hitter. I think with state of plays, you're more likely to accept not a lower quality of game, but maybe not the big names that you've come to expect.
Respect, bro. Respect. I like your mentality for this. I like the way you're thinking about it. Dave, I don't even know what to ask you. Davey, mate, what do you think about this bullshit?
Well, I think coming off the back of what Phil was saying in terms of which would I prefer them to do, I think that if you'd asked me this, you know, a year ago, before we had the last showcase, it would be showcase 100%, right? The last showcase sucked ass, if you remember. It was a mega disappointment, especially compared to the one that we had to kick the generation off, which was fucking insanely good. I don't know. I think if I was to break it down in as much as you could have 2 state of plays or 1 showcase, which would I prefer? Personally, I would like to have a massively long, like 45 to an hour long presentation, and it to be a full blow my arse off level showcase where it's the Wolverine first look, it's Ghost of Utah deep dive, it's Death Stranding deep dive, it's let's have a little look for some more Saros, let's have, you know, like kind of here's everything that's going on. Oh, and by the way, Media Molecule are doing this, you know, and like kind of fill in some of the blanks that we don't know. That's what I would like from it. Will we even ever get something like that again? Is where I got to come back down to earth and to be like, probably not, right? You'll probably get another deep dive into the new Monster Hunter Wilds, the new DLC that's coming, and you know, all that kind of bollocks. But personally, I'm always going to go for a showcase rather than more state of plays, just because you've got more a bigger kind of splash potential, I believe, for a longer showcase than you do with shorter, smaller ones, even if that does mean that you're not getting the same frequency behind them. And I prefer them to go down the showcase route, and I feel like they need to do one. But I'm always saying this, and I never get what I want.
Yeah, it's true. I think I could agree with you, mate. I think I kind of agree. I think it's obviously going to be a showcase. I think there's not really much of a debate. I think it has to be a showcase. Because it's been so long where we've not seen anything. Like, we've had no announcements for ages. A lot of games like Wolverine we haven't seen since the freaking first CG other than the leaks. All this. We don't know what Insomniac's really doing at the minute. We don't know what... Well, I guess Wolverine. But we don't know what else they're doing. They've released like 3 games at the start, and since then, nothing. Blue Point, obviously, they've been... there's so many setbacks. It is hard to say, actually. The more I think about it, it is hard to say. they kind of have to do a showcase, I think. We haven't had one since summer 23. And before then, we didn't have one since launch. We need something big just to reinstill the faith of PlayStation. Because at the minute, the big meme is just no games. That's all it is. We need to see that something's going to happen.
Considering that's the meme, Spence, and sorry to butt in, but what I genuinely think we need, and I don't think it is a state of play, I don't think it is a showcase, I think we need an Xbox developer direct. I really do. The presentation on that show, I don't know if you remember it, was superb. They picked out sort of 3 really big games that are coming to Xbox for Xbox. Obviously, the big games for us will be bigger. And they gave you a surprise as well, which was very nice. And just the way they handled it, they deep dived into all the backgrounds of every single game, and they introduced all the studios, and they really did a polished show. I would love to see that level of attention to detail from PlayStation with the Xbox Developer Direct. I really like the way they did that.
I agree with you that it would be nice. I fucking wouldn't want to see it, because the games that Xbox could do it over there, sure, fine, because their IPs at the minute, like what were the games they did on that developer thing? Do you remember?
They did Doom. They did that Southern game. I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, they were big games, though, for Xbox, okay? And the ones that came out were Doom the Dark Ages. We had Expedition 33. The secret game was Ninja Gaiden 4, and then the folk one that you were talking about was called South of Midnight. But for Xbox, those were big games for them, and Doom very much is, and I think Expedition 33 is going to be a big game that seemed to have a lot of people talking. But for us, obviously, we would want like Ghost of Yotei, we'd want Death Stranding, and we'd want like a Metal Gear Solid or something like that, right?
That's the issue with me on this. The fuck do I want that? No, I don't. I don't want to see those games until they come out. Those deep dives, I wouldn't want to see. PlayStation lives off narrative-driven games. I don't want to see a deep dive into those, because I want it to be a fresh experience when the game releases. That's not something that I would want to see in a showcase or a state of play or any kind of direct or anything like that. I don't want to have the game not spoiled for me, but just shown off for me. I want it to wow me when I'm there.
Yeah, you want more like the showcase in terms of like here's a few-minute trailer on this, or the announcement where they come up on stage and they're like, "Hi, I'm the studio president for XYZ Studio, and we're working on this brand new game." And you're like, "Oh fuck yeah, okay." Then like, "We're planning on releasing it in 2026, so look forward to more in the future." You want like more of those kind of things where
they've all got matching t-shirts.
Yes, where like it fills in the roadmap for what we can expect over the next year or two. That's the kind of thing that you're more looking forward to, Spence. Am I right in saying that?
I want to know that a game is coming, not what the game entails.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, so you want to just have some of those like question marks filled in a bit more, rather than now we know at least, like that Saurus is coming next year. So you're like, great, okay, we know what Housemarque's up to, but we've still got all these question marks around everything else, like Blue Point and all those. And you want to be able to just say, right, okay, they're working on this, they're working on that, they're working on this, and be able to kind of tick those boxes in there, rather than the 15-minute deep dive. Here's what Wolverine. This is the first 3 levels of Wolverine.
I'd fucking hate to see that. I'd hate to see the first 3 levels of Wolverine. What do you mean? I got to play those, mate. I think I want to see him again.
I'd fucking love it, dude. I want to see as much as I can. I agree with Phil. I would prefer to have a state of play come out, and they're like, oh, what I would really like would be them to just be like, here's the state of play for Ghost of Yotei. Here's the state of play for Death Stranding. Here's the state of play for this. These are all happening within a week of each other or 2 weeks of each other, right? Let everyone have a little pop. And you just know, okay, fucking brill. I can just see a little bit more of this and get some more insight on it. I would like that. Or, just as Phil said, just have like, a half-hour long show where it just gives me looks at the 3 games that are coming out this year from PlayStation Studios. And, Bob's your uncle. I reckon that'd be class. Personally, though, I'd like it all. I would like it all. More info, the better, right? The more info, the better. But I suppose the big thing is, do we believe this or not? And it's hard to say, because he doesn't really come up with anything. I'm going to go out on a big one. Showcase happening this year. And that's the next thing that comes out from PlayStation.
I'll say I think it's going to be a showcase, but ultimately, who fucking cares? Jeff Grubb, mate, just pick up the slack, man. What are you doing?
I'll go with showcase as well, because it's more hope than having any substance within this rumor. And I want to see more games, and I want to see the big games this time. Because we're going to talk about the stuff that fills those gaps in the topic, which we're moving on to.
Which we're moving on to right now.
Stop! Topic time!
And here we are with the topic, and today's topic is an absolute juicer. It is the State of Play, which happened on February 12th. And we, as Phil said earlier in the rumor, we did go through this and to have a react, and straight after it, we did then give like a kind of rating for the show, how it lived up to our expectations, but we've had time away from it. We've had a solid 8 days, which is enough to really digest, let it sink into your skin, to let you exfoliate in the greatness or the dirt that was the State of Play, and we are about to find out how it sits with us these days. So first off, what we're going to do, lads, is get our top level thoughts and a rating on the show, and after we've done that, we're then going to dive into our shag, marry, kills, picking out one game that we want to shag, so have a little fling with, a game we want to marry, stick with for life, game that we want to walk down that aisle with, give a little smooch in front of all our friends and family, and the game we want to take out back, shoot in the head and bury, and hope that we put enough lie on it that people do not find that body. So, let's start with our top level thoughts. I'm going to come across to yourself, Spence. What is your rating and your top level thoughts on the State of Play? Did it live up to your hype and expectations?
Well, this is the beauty of my current mindset with PlayStation. I didn't really have much expectations. I think prior to the show, I was a bit like, I don't really care what they show. I don't care that they're even doing the State of Play. I'm not much of a gamer at the minute, boys. I'm just trying to play golf. So, this whole State of Play, yeah, it was alright. It was fine. I think I'd give it like, looking at the list of games, it's a strong list of games, but there's nothing that kind of knocks your socks off other than...
Oh, don't give it away, because obviously you might pick one of those for your shag or your marry.
Mate, honestly, I said other than, looked at the list and didn't see anything, so it's fine. This, it's going to be... it was a State of Play. We had one of the State of Plays of all time. I would give it, if I was giving it a rating, probably... I'll give it a 6, which I think is generous, but probably just because now I know what Housemarque is doing. So I'm quite happy to know that information. And they didn't show me too much. They showed me a little bit, and I'm happy. Now I can wait till it's launched. Great, because I know I'll fucking love it, because it's Housemarque, so I need to know. I thought it was a fine State of Play. Pacing was great. Smashed through shitloads of games. Don't care about most of them, but the ones I care about, they look cool. Great. 6 out of
10. Nice. Nice. What about yourself, Mr. Hoy?
Well, I remember having quite a lot of fun when we were watching this State of Play, and I had quite high expectations, and I think the gaming universe probably did as well, considering there is lots of question marks above and below some of the big names, This show at the time, I believe I gave an 8 out of 10, but I have soured somewhat, so I'm going to mark it down to a sort of 7 out of 10. I'll go through my reasons, and it's not just purely because of the outrage that I saw afterwards on Twitter, because a lot of people were really angry about this State of Play. I'm not entirely sure why. I wouldn't have rated it lower than the sort of 7 out of 10, but I have come down from the hype that was around at the time with the 8 out of 10. So 7 out of 10 would be my rating for the show. And the reason is, okay, so there was 32 games shown in total. And that's if we include the games that were additions to PS Plus. Okay. And in terms of exclusives, because that's the reason we watch a State of Play or a showcase, we want to know what's coming to PlayStation. Do you know how many we had? We had 2. Okay, 2 purely PS5 exclusives. Okay, and that was Darwin's Paradox and Saros. Those were the 2 PS5 exclusives that were in that State of Play. Now, is that good enough? I don't know, right? That number increases slightly if you start counting PS5, PS4, PSVR, and PC, which we still kind of class as exclusives these days. I don't know why. Not technically exclusive because they're going to another platform in a PC. But if you take those into consideration as well, there's 8 total games there within the 32 that are exclusive to PlayStation. Everything else is going to be on other systems, which I mean Xbox. Okay? As I alluded to, and I've mentioned a few times, we didn't get any of the big boys. We didn't get Wolverine. We didn't get Death Stranding 2 or Ghost of Yotai. But there were a few gems in there that got me very, very excited. And I think that's why at the time I scored at the 8. But guys, I do want to make an announcement that this State of Play was the most popular that we've ever had. It reached 2 million concurrent viewers. So there was a lot of people with very high expectations coming into this show. Do I think it delivered on all fronts? No, but I think it did deliver to a certain level, and that level is 7 out of 10.
Well, guys, I'm coming in straight in with the same score that I gave at the time, and that is a 7 out of 10. I think this State of Play, I set my expectations perfectly, and I think it matched them. I went in not really thinking there was going to be anything too crazy here, but I was actually genuinely surprised with some of the announcements. I'm sure they're going to come up as we go through these. I think when you look over the list of games, when you take our hype out of it, take the things that we wanted to see out of the equation, and you look at what was here, is a solid, strong list of games here. I don't think there's any other way to be able to read it. Unfortunately, I can't really go into the intricacies with those because we're going to be talking about them in just a moment. But I think that looking at this, it's not easy to do a Shag, Marry, Kill. I think, because there's a lot of games here that would definitely be in my Shag at the very least, and quite a few that I would put in my Marry. And I think that's all ultimately you want from a State of Play. It's just a shame because I always want to have that, one more thing. And sure, that was Housemarque. Great, like the fucking goats. They don't miss. I wanted something else, Like I wanted a predictable thing, like Ghost of Yotai or Wolverine or Death Stranding, whatever it is. I wanted that here and it wasn't. Marathon especially, I thought that would be a fucking slam dunk. But no. So, yeah, 7 out of 10. I think it's not their best by any stretch. No real surprises other than the Saros. But it was fine. It wasn't a waste of my time. And that's ultimately all it needs to achieve.
I do think both of our views would be higher if we hadn't got spoilt on a certain reveal. And I'm talking about Metal Gear Solid. If we hadn't seen that trailer beforehand, and this was the place we saw it, I think both of our scores would have been at that 8 out of 10, and I would have continued with that scoring.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. If that trailer hadn't gone up like days before, like the full thing,
yeah,
yeah, then yeah, definitely. I do want to talk about a couple of games on here, but I will stop myself and we will dive right into the lists here. So let's start with our Shag. Spence, we always start with yourself. Give me your Shag. What are you put into bed?
I'm a bit hesitant as to what I want to put, as my Shag, because a lot of there's a lot of games here, but the ones that are good are like marries.
Yes, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not many games that are just one night standers. They're either dog arse or, I want to lock that tight, lock that down. So my Shag, I'm gonna say, I think this was my marry in the past. I'm gonna pick Hell Is Us.
Oh,
okay.
I thought that would be a strong marry for you because you're the one who's been the most hyped about this game.
Yeah, I still am. I just don't know what else I'd put as a Shag. This game looks great, but there's better games on this list.
Yeah,
that would take the marry. So it's just been pegged down to a Shag. It's like I was about to marry her, and then her sister came along.
Yeah,
and I was like, oof.
She's a better cook.
Jesus.
She fucking looks after herself.
Took all the good
better.
genes.
Yeah, she's cooking, bro.
She also likes flags.
Loves fan of flags. Sucks dick for flags.
Correct. That sister.
She's the person that, your girlfriend's there, your fiance, and she's like, and your fiance's like, oh, that goddamn flag. And then her sister walks in, she's like, oh my God, that flag. Is that a Super Red flag?
Oh my God.
And you're like, yeah, and you're like, oh my God, I picked the wrong one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, there you go. Well, thanks for that, Spence. So, Phil, over to yourself. What's your Shag?
Okie doke. And I'm along the same sort of lines as Spencer with this one. You know, there's lots in there that you would want to, state a future on. But there is one particularly young lady that caught my eye and has been continuing to catch my eye with every time she appears on my timeline. And I'm, of course, talking about Metal Eden. Now, going into this trailer, I think everybody that watched it and everyone that reacted to it, because I have watched the Maximilian reaction to this, and he made the same assumptions that we made at the time, that this was Marathon, because the vibe is exactly the same. It looks fucking cool, right? It's very futuristic, it's very cyberpunk, it's ticking all those boxes, and it's ticking them in a way where people are getting excited, and I really like that. They very much nailed the setting of this game. Now, the further you watch the trailer and the more times you watch the trailer, you start to understand what this game could possibly be. And most people that have watched this and are commenting on YouTube, etc., are saying it's going to be a sci-fi version of Doom. Now, I love Doom. I love the new iterations of Doom. I love sci-fi. Match made in heaven, right? And this is why it's only a shag, because I want to dip my cock in, but I don't want to stake my future on this one, because I don't know what it's going to be like. I know nothing more than it looks fucking gorgeous, and it's a little bit like something I previously liked, which is Doom.
It's one of those ones you'd wear a Johnny, innit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, you would with this one.
Yeah. Or
no proof.
You'd roll the dice, but then you'd definitely go get checked out at the gun clinic.
Yes, yeah, I agree, because I think she attracted a lot of eyes during that state of play, so I wouldn't be the only one taking her out the back and shagging her.
Yeah, exactly. She'd be fucking filthy.
Throwing it about.
Yeah, she's just keen. She's just keen for a good time.
Is that a flag?
Sometimes, yeah.
She's
Exactly.
bringing her own flag, mate. That's how flirty she is.
Jesus Christ.
She just comes over, hands it to you, and starts sucking you off.
Oh, immediately. She's like, "Oh, sorry. Can you hold my flag?" Oh, yeah.
I need hands for this.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you, Phil. I think this looked great. Metal Eden, we finished that trailer and we were all pretty shocked by, well, firstly, that it wasn't Marathon. And secondly, just that it looked so cool.
It did.
So
Yep.
I'm right there with you. This is the thing that is the complete antithesis to what Spence is always saying. I need to see more of this. I want to see this on more state of plays. I want to see just more gameplay trailers for this, because it comes out fairly shortly and I don't know any more about it. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the next couple of weeks now we'll start to have more of a drip of content, and I'm going to be sitting there lapping that shit up, because I really want some Metal Eden in my life, and I'm happy to shag it with you boys. Share that round.
Share it around. Why not? Sharing's caring.
It is indeed. For myself, for my shag, this is a tough one, right? Because there's quite, like you guys said, I think there's loads of games on here that I could quite easily slip in and out of and have a great fucking time. And the one that I'm going to put into my shag list here is...
Such a good analogy, this, isn't it?
It's great. It just keeps on. It's the gift that keeps on giving, doesn't it? Is Shinobi Art of Vengeance. And I think this is the one that would be most likely to be a marry from pretty much anything, but it's just a little bit worse than the games that I'm putting out there for my marry. Shinobi Art of Vengeance looks fucking sick. When we saw the trailer for that, it was one of the first games that was shown, and I was popping off for it. It just looks incredible. I love these kind of I just love these old school kind of fucking games, man. Like these kind of Metroidvania kind of hack and slashy games. They're just fucking sick. And this is a proper just blast from the past. I'm well into this. I think the art style is beautiful. Thought the trailer was really, really well presented. Yeah, I cannot wait to see Shinobi return and put my dick all up in her.
So I felt the same about this very beautiful young lady that surprised us very early on in the state of play, and I think this would have been my Shag if Metal Eden and sparked my interest towards the end of the night. But Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Now, I haven't seen this girl since sort of 2003 on the PS2. She hasn't been around for a while, okay? I think we had a mobile game, but outside that, on a mainstay console, she's been away for some time, right? But this girl's been around for a long, long time. I was playing with her back in the 90s with Revenge of Shinobi, on the Mega Drive. That's how long she's been around. So she's an experienced girl, but I like the new direction she's coming in with. The new look that she's sporting. She's had a bit of work done, and I'm liking it.
She's gone to Turkey. She's had that, mum boards, revised. You can go into, Turkey and get, a 10K surgery, and you come out like a fucking fresh woman. She's had, that vagina stitching. So she's looking, all brand new, feeling like a virgin again. And I'm all about it.
Yes. Agree. Look. I haven't got anything else to say, sorry. To move on.
Let's move on to our Mary, shall we? Spence, who are you taking to the altar, bro?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to shock you with who I'm taking to the altar. Or maybe upset you even. Actually, no, I think, because I know which one you should pick. So I think you'll be alright. The person that I'm going to take down the aisle and marry is Midnight Walk.
Oh, you fucker. Yeah, that was definitely mine. Yeah.
I thought you might take the other one. But from the trailer we got during that state of play, and the trailer we got the time before, Midnight Walk looks so sick.
Mm-hmm.
The art style's amazing. The gameplay looks quite creative, and the fact I can play it in horrific PSVR 2 and shit my pantaloons. Hell yeah, brother. It looks phenomenal. And sure, you'd probably expect me to say Split Fiction, but we all already know I'm marrying that. So there's no point me saying it again. Midnight Walk. And honestly, at the minute, I think I'm more keen for Midnight Walk. Because it's just a breath of fresh air, isn't it? It's just a brand new kind of experience. It's the thing we're talking about where we say it's harder for games to stand out nowadays. A Midnight Walk, from what we've seen, is going to, I think, excel at that. I think it's going to really stand out as its own kind of game. And I'm excited to see what it does and how the story kind of plays out. I'm super keen for it.
Yeah, mate, I completely agree with you. I'm there 100%. This was my easy marry. This is the first game I picked out and knew that I was going to marry this. I just cannot wait to play this game. I really can't. I think it's going to be one of those experiences that I don't even know how I want to play it either. I think that both ways is just going to be so fucking cool. And to be able to play it through on 2D and then to be like, oh, should I go into 3D now and see how much more effective it is or the kind of difference? I think it's just such a great idea, man. And the art style, the kind of claymation style for it is just so fucking appealing. They got some sauce here. I just hope the gameplay matches that.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I can't imagine it failing. It'd be like fucking what's that game that you love, Phil? That I'm not a fan of.
That's loads of them.
Oh
Yes,
no,
so
that's survival horror. That fucking survival horror one. With just beating stuff up with a stick. Fuck me. Can't remember. That was done by the Dead Space guys.
Oh, Callisto Protocol.
That's the one.
Oh, that.
Watching everything for Callisto Protocol, I was like, there's no fucking way that they're going to fuck this up. No fucking way. And I played it and I was like, fuck, they fucked it up. So I'm just hoping, that Midnight Walk isn't one of those moments, man. Just praying to the gods, because I've been burnt too many goddamn times. I've touched that fucking boiling hot pan more times than I care to count. But great choice, Spencer. Great choice.
Yeah, great choice. And I know you guys are going to continue to support this game because I think one of the bets that's in the dock that I bet you guys wouldn't want to play this game on release. And I still kind of stick with that because it's busy and there's lots of games. Now, if those are the games that you want to spend your time with, it does look amazing. And I do like the aspects that we're talking about with PS5 and PSVR 2. And I think this is the type of game that should appeal to you guys. So all for it, and I'll take that shot, and I'll take it with a big smile on my face when you guys turn around and it scores like a 70% on Metacritic. Come on. Because I'm still thinking I might just double down on this now because I'm so far in that I might just counterpick it. Because you've picked it on the fantasy critic.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
I might just do that.
It's a high risk, isn't it? But potentially high reward. So you never know. It could come out and score in the 90s.
Do you have? I was going to say, do you boys have like guesses of where you think it might land? We don't have to put a bet on it.
Well, yeah, I reckon it's going to be in the strong 80s. I do. I reckon it'd be up there, maybe an 86, 87.
I think depending on how the story plays out, from what I've seen, I think it's going to be like a 91.
Wow.
You guys have got very high expectations of this. The one thing that really lets it down is that word PSVR. I really worry when those games are sold to us and they never tend to score that well. So it all depends how VR this game is, if you like, because it could just be played on a PS5. It could be stunning, but having PSVR 2 on it kind of is a bit of a sign that it's not going to score massively and be in the sort of 90s. So I'm hoping that it will be below the point where you actually get any points on the Metacritic, but being realistically, because it does look amazing and the devs are really nice. They brought their little Wallace and Gromit statues out, didn't they? Which was very entertaining. I'm thinking it's probably going to be in the 70s.
Well, I'm hoping, not just for my sake, for my performance this year on Fantasy Critic, I'm hoping for me personally that it's the former and they fucking nail it. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. What about yourself then, Mr. Hoy? Where are you going for your marry?
My marry, and I've been married to this girl for a very long time. I've been married to her since the PS1 days. Okay, well, at least the series, right? I'll give you that. This might be a different version of her, an upgraded version. It might be the most popular version of her by the wider gaming community. Not my personal favourite, but out of this list, this would be the one that I would slip that ring on every night of the week. And I'm, of course, talking about Metal Gear. Okay, it's a game that I have actually pre-ordered already. So that's how much I want to marry her. I'm putting the money down to buy, not the collector's edition, not the full top whack, but I'm going in on that mid-level and get an extra couple of bonuses with the Steelbook because I cannot wait for what they're going to be doing with this version of Metal Gear. I'm super excited. I was over the moon when it leaked, but I really hoped, and now looking back on it, it would have been nicer if it was in that state of play because it would have upped all our scores, and I think we would have all been just talking purely about Metal Gear, and all the other games would have got less of a shine. But this one's definitely my marry. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Great fucking choice, mate. Honestly, the trailer just looked so fucking good. And straight after it, I was like, fuck me, I'm going to have to buy the collector's edition or something. And, we got into a big thing on our in PS We Trust chat where we just I was just sharing all the different SKUs and different things. This game is going to fucking slap tits, man. I mean, the original's so good. Even though it seems like as if we're fucking negative on Snake Eater all the time, just because it's not as good as the others. But it's like comparing a fucking 10 out of 10 to a 99.
Yeah,
to a 9.9. It's like that fucking close. So, I can't wait for this, man. Definitely a day one, 100%. Oh, mate.
Here we go.
No, it looks phenomenal, doesn't it? It's Unreal 5. It looks beautiful. I know the game's beloved. It looks great, and I've never played it. Or I've never gotten out of the forest.
So you haven't played it, really?
Yeah, literally not played it. Yeah, no. I got to the you get to the bridge with the two guards on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. That's where I got.
Okay.
I've literally never played it, but I know it's beloved. I know people say it's the best, even though we tend to, on games, specifically the game Can't mentioned, we tend to disagree with the majority. And that, I don't know if that rings true for every franchise, but I think Metal Gear is going to kind of follow suit as well. Because my favorite's Rising Revengeance, of course.
What the hell?
That is a wild take.
Wild.
Compared to MGS1. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
What a
mate,
shit
fantastic choice. And I'll tell you what, I'll probably be joining you that day one if Davey gets digital.
I won't get digital for this.
If you get a collector's edition, you will.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying the collector's edition. I'm going to go in for the physical deluxe, the steelbook.
Oh yeah,
That's
I'll
what I'm
same
going
as
to
me.
get.
play it when
Yeah.
you're done. Then
Yeah, absolutely fine, mate. You're welcome to. And from what it is, there'd be no reason to ever play the PS2 original
yeah,
from this because it's a 1-to-1 remake. So there'd be no point. Great choice, Phil. Absolutely fantastic. For myself, my Mary, you guys probably thinking I'm going to go for Saros. And if I was playing it safe, I would. But it's too safe, isn't it? Obviously, I would pick Saros, the most exciting game here, right? And that's why I'm not picking it. I'm going to pick something else that we can actually have a little conversation about. And that is Onimusha, Way of the Sword, coming out 2026. Fucking hell. Onimusha, right? We haven't had a new one since 2006. It's been a long-ass time. Capcom coming back with not only the remakes of the remasters, which are out now, or coming out very shortly, sorry, for Onimusha 2, coming out in May. Way of the Sword, that trailer was just fucking phenomenal. Like, really fucking good. I'm not even a huge Onimusha fan. Like, I'm not, like, over the moon with it like I am with other Capcom franchises. But that trailer was just something so fucking special. And it looked so great. I want to see more of this game, but it's already sold me in what I've seen. I think it's just a day one purchase easy. And a game that I'll spend, a good, like, 20-odd hours with, put down, and then be like, fuck me. I gotta go back and play Onimusha 1, 2, and 3. Like, I have to. So I think it's gonna be one of those kind of like reverse waves through the franchise. Like, I'll play it and I'll want more. And everything I've seen here just looks like Capcom just keep on cooking, bro. Like, keep cooking. To have 2 games here, which are like massive games in this showcase, with Monster Hunter Wilds, which like kind of opened it, which fucking looked great. And then this, like, scattered halfway through. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I'm paying attention. This was just chef's kiss. Keep cooking, Capcom. You're fucking nailing it.
Yeah, I very much agree with you on that one, Davey. It's one of the series that I've never played, and obviously we play a lot of the same games, so I think we both sort of missed out on the Onimusha hype. But from what I know, it is a legendary series from Capcom, and it's weird because Capcom is our favorite probably games developer, producer, and everything in between, because they make some of the best games or our favorite games, don't they? So it's weird when Capcom have a series which we've never touched, and Onimusha for myself is one of those. But from what I know, they do quite a lot of mocap, don't they, for the characters within Onimusha, and that's kind of like a mainstay throughout the series. And this very much looked very accurate when we were introduced to the trailer, and there's a slight comedy aspect to this one that came across, and I quite welcome that within an Onimusha game. But because from what I know, they're not particularly funny. I think that is a bit of a departure from the older versions of the game, but maybe some of our viewers and listeners can correct me on that one if I'm wrong. But I think this will be my way in 2026 to the series, and I'll be much like yourself and go back through the back catalogue if this one lives up to the hype which it's created.
Hell yeah. Now, Spence, you saw this trailer, same as us. Did it wow you, or are you feeling very much underwhelmed?
I'll tell you what, you boys are gonna have a great time with this game. I think.
Here we go.
I think the trailer looked great. I think it looks brilliant. It does.
Yeah.
It looks phenomenal. But I'm fucking sick of the whole samurai bullshit, man. It's like back 10 years ago, you had zombie game. Now it's like samurai game. Fucking make something else. What are you doing? There's so many freaking samurai games at the minute. I can't be arsed. I'm not playing any of them. Put my hand in a bowl, I'll pull out a samurai game. What? I could play any of them. It doesn't matter. I can't be arsed, mate. Why this? Why would I play this over Ghosts?
So you're saying when Phantom Blade Zero comes out, the game that we've all been fucking excited for ever since that first trailer, you're not going to play it because it's a samurai guy?
Well, what am I doing? Onimusha, or Phantom Blade Zero, or Rise of the Ronin, or Ghost of Yatai, bro. Put my hand in the hat, and one of them's going to come out, innit? It's stupid. There's so many stupid samurai games. No, I'm not. I can't be asked.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much. There's too much samurai at the minute.
Oh, mate. I don't know why you're such a hater for today.
Bro, I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
He's miserable today.
I'm desperate to go to bed. And I'm just sick of seeing samurais. I'm so sick of it. Make something else. Except Or make the one samurai game that I actually want, that was announced ages ago, The Last Ronin, Turtles. That's all I want. That's the one I want. Where's that?
Cancelled, isn't it?
Where's that?
It got cancelled.
The one samurai game that I actually want, gone.
They
Bro.
cancelled it.
Well,
And
now,
then-
out of spite, I'm not playing any of them.
And Shinobi's a ninja rather than a samurai, so we've avoided that one. That one's a little bit different, isn't it? That one gets through your wide net you're casting there in terms of samurai games that come out. But I agree with you, there is a lot of them. But this one has pedigree and legacy to it.
Not to me, mate.
Right, fine. I'm not going to convince you.
Oh, well, with that, we'll move it on to our kills. Spence, you're not saying
Onimusha
Oh,
with-
shut up.
Nah, I'm playing, bro. I'm playing. My kill, kind of for the same thing, actually. My kill is Borderlands 4. And you might be thinking,
Oh, good
"Whoa,
choice."
Why? Why are you killing it? Because
No.
fucking, why are they still making them? Do something else, man. Just stop making the same fucking games. No, everyone is so scared to do something different, and I understand why. It is terrifying, and if you just keep doing the same thing, chances are it's going to sell just as well as the last one, if it's just as good. But come on, have some creativity going on. Do something new. Hire a new writer. Stop using the same one for the last 15 fucking years. Borderlands 4, because the movie was so fucking successful. What are you doing? Who wants this? I'm sure there's a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people who love Borderlands. Not fucking me, man. I can't be arsed. I didn't play 2. I played a bit of 2. Didn't play, it was 3? There must have been a 3 because there's a 4. I didn't play the Handsome Jack collection. I didn't play pre-sequel. I didn't play whatever. Why is there so many of them? Have a laugh, mate. No, kill it. I'm not playing this. Get it gone. If this comes to PS Plus, I still won't play it.
I have
Raw.
to completely agree with you on this one, Spence, and it would have been my kill as well. I'm not a fan of Borderlands, and those two fools, it was one of the worst presentations I had seen. Did anyone find that funny, other than laughing at them as opposed to laughing with them? What were they trying to do? None of it was funny, was it? It just really wasn't. There was good aspects of the actual game, because I think the polish on the actual game looked quite high, but generally Borderlands, it just doesn't get me excited. So I 100% agree with you. This one needs to be killed off, and yeah, let's see something new from those guys. Not another Borderlands. And going off what you were just saying, Spence, with the movies, it always cracks me up when they have a shit movie that comes out, a bit like Suicide Squad, and they go, do you know what we should do? Create a game of that. Yeah, amazing. Great idea. And obviously it tanks.
Exactly right, mate.
It's wild.
Look, I think you put Borderlands 4, this trailer, next to some Borderlands 2 gameplay on a PC, and they look fucking identical.
Oh, I'd push back on that, man. I reckon it looks good. I
Yeah, it
reckon,
looks
like,
good, but you're comparing that to a
graphically.
trailer from like back then. If you put Borderlands 2 on a new PC on ultra settings, it'll look the same as this Borderlands 4.
Oh, see, I'm not with you guys on this. I mean, I'm gonna buy it. No, absolutely not. But
right, try and save it now.
I think it looks good. I'm really
Bruce
hoping
said
it's a return.
absolutely not.
No way. Like, I've never owned any of the Borderlands games. They've never got me interested in them. Although we did play a tiny bit of one of them on PlayStation Plus at some point, and it was all right. It was fine, right? It was okay. I'm not really too interested in it, but there is a market for this, and people love it. And it looks like, to me, a return to form of what I know Borderlands as. I'm hoping for the best for it. It's not for me. Certainly not bad enough to get on my kill list, especially when we got some fucking stinkers on here. But I understand your rationale. I'm not going to buy it either. So I'm right there with you, right? But I don't mind seeing this for the next fucking 20 million presentations until this eventually comes out, which it says later this year. No fucking chance. I reckon it's probably out like another year, because it feels like whenever there's a Borderlands, I see it in my fucking dreams. I see it in my nightmares. I see it every fucking waking second on every single advertising platform there possibly is, because it always seems to be fucking shown. So wait to see it at the Game Awards at the end of the year, announcing that it's coming shortly. And again, apologies for the delay, which is probably going to happen. But Mr. Hoy, over to you. What's your kill?
Okay, so my kill, and I just don't understand why they're trying to do a big budget version of this game. And I'm, of course, talking about Time Strangers, and it's a weird name in itself. Like, I love Digimon as much as the next guy, but they're kind of going for, as I said, a big budget Digimon. Who's asking for this? It's wild, right? I understand Pokemon is, again, an all-time high, right? And Nintendo can just rattle through those games and people buy them. They sell like hotcakes. They make millions. It's one of the biggest IPs, or if not the biggest IP in the world, right? But Digimon has always never reached those heights. So I don't understand why there is so much investment in this IP. It's like you've got a studio, you've got a bunch of money, and they're like struggling for an IP that you think is popular and you think is going to generate sales. And they've gone with Digimon. Digimon. Like, who wants this? Who still wants Digimon? Like, Digimon came out, I think, was like my brother's era. So like a couple of years younger than me. So what? Slightly after you. Sort of your age, I suppose. Yeah. Sort of 5 years younger than me sort of thing. But like, are you hyped for Digimon? Like, are you wearing a Digimon t-shirt now, ironically? Because I used to like it back in the day. You know, do you still like, I don't even know the names of the bloody Digimons. Tyrannosaurus Rexmon? I don't know. I don't know them. They didn't stick in my mind like Pokemon. I can give you 150 Pokemon right now. 151 probably. But do I know any of the Digimon? No.
No.
And
There's a reason for this, mate. It's because Digimon was for fucking brokies. It was that's what it was. People who their parents couldn't get them Pokemon cards, they got into Digimon because it was fuck all for Digimon to start with. It came later. Digimon was shit. I always hated it. I watched a few episodes because they had a cool ass tune. Digimon, digital monster, and I was like, oh yeah, this would be all right. And I was like, fucking hell, it's just shit Pokemon. And that was all it was. It didn't go any further than that. And I was just tribalistic as fuck as a kid. Not like I am now, shitting on Xbox all the time and repping PlayStation 24/7. It's not me.
Who, this guy?
Yeah, not me. But I was just tribalistic, man. I was like, Pokemon ride or die. Pokemon till I fucking die, till I hit that fucking grave. And then Pokemon came out with new Pokemon. I was like, fuck these new Pokemon. I was sticking with my original 151. Because I'm not tribalistic at all. I stick with what I know. I like this shit. But yeah, Digimon, I agree with you. This was actually my kill. My easy kill as well.
Yeah.
Fucking get in the bin. It was shittest trailer by far, I think. And as you said, just a fucking shit IP, shit fucking game. Fuck this.
Yeah. Nothing appealing about it.
No.
Who even were the developers? It's like, why are you wasting your time, guys? Who is backing that with money? Thinking, oh, do you know what? I'm going to make some money off this. Digimon, it sells like hotcakes, doesn't it? Oh, I'm mistaken. It's Pokemon that sells like hotcakes, not Digimon. Right.
That's what they do, mate. You don't realize, I don't know if you've looked into it, there are countless Digimon games. They do a Digimon game like this basically every year. And it seems like they release the game and then check how well Pokemon sold and go, yeah, we'll do another one. And that's their decision making. They don't check their own game at all. I know there is a big fan base for Digimon, but
is it big enough to sustain a big budget game? Because it looked as if they were really trying hard with this. It seemed to try to. Well, it looked like a big budget game to me. It looked as if it had a lot of effort put in.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not part of that fandom. I can't say.
If you were part of that fandom, mate, we'd have words. You wouldn't be part of that fandom for long. Because I'll just show you Pokemon. And he'd be like, oh, fuck me. What have I been doing all my life? I've been looking at digital monsters where I could put monsters in a fucking ball.
Bro.
And throw and make them fight. There's real blood.
Bro, there's freaking in Digimon, they carry knives and shit, bro.
Yeah, but they're just fucking digital. Digital monsters. Who cares?
Yeah, we're against digital on this show, aren't we?
Yeah,
all physical.
All physical. We fucking hate digital shit. So and I'm not taking some digital monster who looks like a little fucking pleb I don't give a fuck. Not having it. Not in my fucking life. Well, I got a game actually that it totally slipped my mind because of how fucking uninspired it was. And you made me really look through a load of these games to find which one it was. I couldn't even remember. It was called Mind's Eye.
Yes.
This is the trailer that we watched, right? That we were like, oh, it's like rip-off GTA, but fucking shit.
I forgot about this.
Yeah. It's developed by IO, which is a good developer, so it's probably going to be all right. But there is nothing about this that appealed to me whatsoever, and I completely forgot what it was even called, and I had to look through the entire doc's worth of games to find it, because that's how uninspired it was.
They're that's the Deus Ex guys, right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone knows the last Deus Ex game was great. Bloody brilliant. Mate, I couldn't agree with you on this. I would kill the fuck out this game. To me, it didn't look like GTA. It looked like Watch Dogs. Like Watch Dogs 1, which I really fucking like Watch Dogs 1. I think it's a really good game. A lot of people shout on it, but a lot of people didn't even play it. They just compared it to the E3 trailer and there was beef, but it was great. And I think this game looks a lot like that, except it doesn't need to because Watch Dogs exists. So yeah, mate, kill it off. Could not agree with you more. And I can't believe you even remembered to mention this game.
That is hilarious. But Spence, the reason we're all making comparisons to GTA, because I did a little bit of research on this and I actually tweeted about it. You need to follow me on Twitter. It's because the lead designer of this game worked on Grand Theft Auto. So that's the reason there is that kind of crossover, because I know like the story just seemed really confusing. There was some robots, strangely the setting seemed off, but as soon as it got into the actual gameplay, the way he was carrying a gun and where the camera was and the way the car, because I think he got into a car at a certain point, it just looked like Grand Theft Auto. And my tweet was that he's doing a Glenn Schofield here, right? He's moving away from a very successful IP and trying to go out on his own with a company, but doing relatively similar, okay? And Glenn Schofield, obviously, you know, he produced a game that I found was okay. You guys obviously hated, and I think this guy is doing very much the same thing here, trying to imitate something that he was popular for in the past, but not really achieving the heights of Grand Theft Auto, obviously.
Look at this. 2 mentions of Callisto Protocol in one episode.
I know. Bring it back.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Callisto Protocol 2.
Please no. Please
God.
no. I just think, man, that this is just you're ordering GTA on Wish or something. It just looks bad. It just looks bad. And there's just nothing about it that just is appealing in any way, shape, or form. So for those that are interested in this, I hope it's good for your sake. But if any of us had put this in our fucking fantasy critic, I would have been fucking counter-picking that every goddamn day of the week. And nobody has. So I suppose that goes to show the confidence level that's out there for this. The thing that for me, apart from everything else we just said, the first reveal comes out in summer. I don't want to see more of this. Like, I kind of hope there isn't a state of play or something, because I don't want to see any more. I'm so checked out. It's unbelievable. But that brings our Shag, Marry, and Kill lists to a close, ladies and gentlemen. And I think, personally, there's not really too much else to say on this. There's a few games that I wouldn't mind giving a little shout-out to. Saros, obviously, a huge one, but we're going to be speaking about that forever on this podcast, so there's no point in really hashing it out here. We spoke about it quite a lot following our React. So if you want to see some thoughts on that, go over there. And there's a couple of cool games here, like obviously Liza P. Overture, Directive 8020 looks great for me, you know. From the studio that never fucking gets a hit, and when it does, it's 7 out of 10, but I keep hoping for more. But I'm happy to leave this here, lads. Don't know about yourselves.
Well, one thing to mention is we're getting some more booty in Stellar Blade, because they've got a expansion of sorts with some extra modes and some costumes and stuff. So we're getting more booty. So any girl with a voluptuous bum is going to appear in Stellar Blade at any stage. I think Chun-Li is ultimately going to turn up next.
Oh, Chun-Li, Cammy. The possibilities are endless.
If Cammy's in there, I got to buy Stellar Blade.
It's got to happen, hasn't it? Make it happen. Cammy and Chun-Li. Get them in Stellar Blade.
Make it happen, baby. Make it happen. Get that jumpsuit on. Jumping all over the place. Ooh. Causing a fucking storm. And we really hope, audience, that you have enjoyed this episode and this has caused a storm in your pants. And if it has, there's only one way to let us know. 5 stars, baby. Put that 5-star on wherever you listen to the podcast. We really, really do appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, then again, hello. Then put a like, subscribe to the channel. It all helps us. But that is going to be it for episode 108 of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. My name's Davey.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Spencer.
Take care, guys.
Yes.
In PS We Trust is hosted by Davey, Phil, and Spencer. You can write into the show via our email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @InPSWeTrust. To find each of us online, follow our Twitters, @SSJDavey, @PhilipHoy, @SpenPie_. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.